Chapter 925. Read 336. Little Seven looked at Li, hoping that she could give her some hints. But why was she clenching her fist at him? That you, although you're very beautiful today, I'm a girl. You don't have to look at me so affectionately. Little Seven threw caution to the wind and threw herself into Sima Yoyue's embrace, smiling flatteringly. Save it. Sima Yoyue said. Didn't I tell you before that girls should be virtuous? Don't shout and kill for no reason. You still want to teach Li? Do you want to teach a girl who is as bandit as you? Is there? I don't think so, Little Seven said. I've always said that girls shouldn't use their fists if they don't have to. Isn't that right, Li? Yes. Li nodded and said in her heart. You only said to use your fists when you need to. You even taught her fist techniques? What if a girl goes out and meets a hooligan? I'm teaching her how to defend herself. Little Seven quibbled. Li has a human body. Your methods might not be suitable for her, Sima Yoyue said. That's why I didn't just casually teach him. I chose a set that suits him, Little Seven said. You're still quibbling. Sima Yoyue pinched Little Seven's cheeks. Pfft, I heard you scolding people the moment I arrived, Bei Gongtang said. You're still scolding Little Seven. Look at you. Aren't you using violence at the slightest provocation? Bei Gong is right. If the upper beam is not straight, the lower beam will be crooked too. I'm actually using you as a role model. Little Seven was grateful to her savior. If no one came, she would probably be scolded by Yoyue. It's been a long time since I've seen you in female clothing. Compared to the last time, you look even more charming. Bei Gongtang walked over and looked her up and down, praising her. The last time she wore women's clothing was when she was in the Restless Continent. Compared to that time, she now had a more ruthless and domineering aura, and her eyes had a hint of age. How are things in the school? Sima Yoyue let go of Little Seven and asked. The ranking challenge is over. Everyone is cultivating in the academy. There's nothing much going on, Bei Gongtang said. It's just that once you and Little Seven finished competing, you disappeared without a trace. The academy's students kept loitering around the dormitory entrance, wanting to see if they could find you. You want to challenge me? Sima Yoyue asked. It's not a challenge. At the end of the competition, Little Seven had said that if anyone wanted to challenge her, they would have to defeat her first. With her around, who would dare to look for you? Bei Gongtang said. They just want to see if they can see you and witness your elegance. There are also some people who want to join the society. Our two leaders have been worrying about this for a long time. Later on, in order to avoid those people, everyone chose to go into seclusion. If you hadn't asked us to come this time, everyone would still be in seclusion. Where are the others? They're all waiting outside, Bei Gongtang said. They wanted to come in, but once they reached the valley, they heard that you and your senior brother were already together. They also heard that you were changing, so those guys didn't dare to come in. When Yoyue goes out, she will definitely shock everyone, Little Seven said with a smile. That's right. I didn't feel it in the past, but now I realize that she's really a beauty. If your senior brother abandons you one day, will you follow me? Bei Gongtang said with a smile. All right, Sima Yoyue replied. This must be big sister Bei Gongtang. Li looked at Bei Gongtang and said with a smile. Big sister, you're right. She's really pretty. Bei Gongtang looked at Li with a questioning gaze. This is my younger sister Li. Because I thought she was already dead, I didn't mention her to you guys. Sima Yoyue said. She was only 15 when the accident happened, so she's the same age as me now. Big sister said that in your team, there's an especially pretty sister. I think it's you. Li said. Thank you for accompanying Big Sister in the past. If it wasn't for you guys, I don't even know what Big Sister would be like now. We came here together. Not only did we accompany her, she also accompanied us, Bei Gongtang said. Let's go. Since everyone's here, let's go out and meet them. Otherwise they'll wait anxiously and try to kill me again, Sima Yoyue said. Even if you go out now, they'll definitely try to kill you when they see you like this. Bei Gongtang pulled Sima Yoyue's hand and walked out. The moment she opened the door, she saw everyone waiting in the courtyard. Sima Yulin and the others were talking in the courtyard. When they heard the movement, they turned around. The moment they saw Sima Yue come out, everyone was stunned. Oh my god, is this Yue? Fatty Chu looked at Sima Yue and his jaw almost dropped to the ground. I always thought that Bei Gong Tang was beautiful. I didn't think that Yue would be even more beautiful after dressing up as a girl. Wei Ziqi couldn't help but exclaim. Haha, fifth bro. Fifth sis is really stunning after dressing up as a girl. Sima Yue saw their reactions. It's not like you guys haven't seen me in a dress before. Do you have to be so surprised? How old were you at that time? Your facial features weren't fully developed and your temperament was different. Also, after so many years, seeing you in male clothes every day made us forget that time you wore a dress. Sima Yuran said. Now that you've grown up, you look different. Third bro, you're teasing me too. Sima Yue glared at him. Why don't I see senior brother? After he sent us here, he said that he had something to settle and left. Sima Yulin said. Alright, she didn't know if it was about the Sage Pavilion or the Devil Realm. It wasn't good to ask. Let me introduce you. This is little sister Lear. These are big bro, second bro. Sima Yue introduced them one by one. Yue, why didn't I hear you mention that you have a little sister? Fatty Chu said. Hello little sister Lear. I'm your big bro Fatty. If anyone bullies you in the future, tell big bro Fatty and I'll help you beat them up. Sima Yue's face was filled with black lines. Third Aunt Du and Little Wu were laughing behind them. Just now Lear said something similar to Little Wu, causing Little Seven to be scolded by Sima Yue. Now Fatty Chu was doing it again. Looking at Yue's expression, she probably really wanted to beat someone up. Since you're fifth bro's little sister, then you're our little sister. Big bro will protect you in the future. Sima Yue said with a smile. Okay. Sima Li replied with a smile. Big bro, second bro, third bro, fourth bro, have you gone to see grandfather? Sima Yue asked. Not yet. We just arrived here as well. Sima Yuming said. Then let's go together. They should be in the valley in front now. When Feng comes back, we can start today's banquet. Sima Yue said. Little Seven covered her mouth and laughed secretly. Everyone had been waiting for her. When she went, it would definitely cause a commotion. Chapter 926. Read 336. Sima Yue's courtyard was at the top of the valley, and Shimenfeng's courtyard was beside hers. The valley was L-shaped. It was nearly a kilometer from their courtyard to the front of the valley, and they still had to make a turn. When she brought everyone over, the originally noisy valley immediately quieted down. Everyone stared blankly at the beautiful figure who had just arrived. This is boss. Dai drank the wine in his mouth and whispered. It's really, boss. And Ione felt that his heart was about to jump out of his chest, and his heart was about to jump out of his throat. No one dared to speak loudly for fear of ruining this beautiful moment. See, I told you. You'll definitely amaze everyone. Shimenli whispered into Sima Yue's ear with a smile. Yue's charm can't be hidden even in men's clothes, let alone women's clothes. Bei Gong Tang teased from the other side. If you don't go over, their saliva will drip onto the ground. Sima Yue smiled. She had not worn a dress for a long time, and was not used to it. Just as she was about to go over, a spatial passage opened diagonally above her, and Wu Lingyu walked out. He immediately saw Yue in female clothes. His eyes flashed with amazement at first, then he frowned slightly and became a little unhappy. Have you settled the matter? Sima Yu looked at him and watched the change in expression on his face with satisfaction. Wu Lingyu walked over and held her hand, saying, There's still a little left, so I rushed back first. In front of so many people, she didn't ask what was going on and said, Since you're back, let's attend the banquet together. Feng hasn't come back yet? It should be soon. Even if he couldn't get Xiang Yi, he would come back himself. We already agreed on the time of the banquet. Sima Yu said. Let's go then. Wu Lingyu held her hand and walked over. Along the way, the eyes of those people were staring at their intertwined hands. Their hearts were filled with envy and jealousy. Bei Gong Tang and the others were behind. Looking at their backs, she said, The more I look at them, the more compatible they seem. What match? It's obviously an eyesore. Sima Yue glared hatefully at their hands, wishing he could go up and pry them apart. An eyesore, really an eyesore. She really is an eyesore. Sima Yue agreed. She's clearly our younger sister. How did she end up in his hands? This is intolerable. Sima Yue said. We can't accept it. Sima Yue agreed. How can we let him cheat our sister away so easily? Yes, we have to think of something. I agree. When everyone heard what the four brothers said, they couldn't help but feel worried for Wu Lingyu. This guy was finished. If it was someone else who wanted to teach him a lesson, he would probably be killed in seconds. But they were Yue's brothers. No matter what they did, he had to endure it. He could not resist. Haha. Why did they feel so happy when they thought of this? I'm looking forward to it. When Sima Yue arrived in front of everyone, Annie was the first to approach her. Wow, boss, you're so beautiful. If I knew you were a girl, I would definitely have chased you. When he heard this, Wu Lingyu frowned and the other brothers held their foreheads. Oh no, this guy couldn't avoid a beating. Shichen went up and pulled him back, saying, It's no use even if you knew. It's better to come back and cool off. I still want to talk to boss. Annie cried out. Boss you. Shichen stretched out a hand and covered his mouth. Good brother, I'm doing this for your own good. Didn't you see that the guy's face was so black? Sima Yue looked at Shichen's expression and couldn't help but laugh. With this laugh, the sky, earth, sun and moon lost their color. Everyone's eyes were only left with her smile. A portal in space suddenly opened, and the three of them walked out. Seeing the dazed people below, Kong Sengyi turned around and looked at Shimin Feng. Are we sure we didn't go to the wrong place? Let's go down. Shimin Feng pulled her hand and flew to Sima Yue. You guys are back? We were just waiting for you guys. Sima Yue smiled at the two of them. Wow, Yue, you look so beautiful in female clothes. If I was a guy, I would definitely chase you. Kong Sengyi went up and pulled Sima Yue's hand, looking her up and down and said with a smile. Wu Lingyu really wanted to say that he wouldn't be calculative if she was a girl, but he was still unhappy in his heart. Then do you want me to research on a sex change pill for you? Sima Yue said with a smile. Seeing the old man behind, she asked, This is my master. He doesn't belong to the Kong Valley, and he won't tell anyone about us. Master is worried about me, so? Kong Sengyi felt that he had let Sima Yue down. This old man said that he won't tell anyone about you guys. Naturally, there will be rules of heaven and earth to restrict him. The old man said. Rules of heaven and earth? Sima Yue was slightly shocked. Master swore. Kong Sengyi said. Sima Yue didn't expect the old man to be so decisive. She smiled and said, Since he's your master, he's naturally our guest. Fengji, bring the guests to their seats. Fengji went up and waved at the old man, saying, Elder Mu, please. He called out his name the moment he came up, which meant that Fengji knew him. 10 great evildoers. Elder Mu looked at Fengji and squinted his eyes. Fengji smiled and didn't deny it. He then made a gesture to invite him in. Elder Mu kept the shock in his heart and followed him to their seats. Shimin Feng brought Kong Sengyi in front of Shimin Li. Before he said anything, Shimin Li went up and grabbed Kong Sengyi and said, Future sister-in-law, I thought you wouldn't be able to come today. You're so beautiful. Kong Sengyi's personality was more unrestrained. Now that he saw Shimin Li, he blushed when she called him future sister-in-law. You must be Lear. I heard about it from your brother. Knowing that you're still alive, he's so happy. This is a gift for you. It was prepared in a hurry. I hope you don't mind. Kong Sengyi took out a box and passed it to Shimin Li. Wow, I really have a gift for you. Shimin Li happily opened the box. There was a pair of emerald green bracelets lying inside. This bracelet has a defensive function. It can withstand 3 attacks from a monarch-ranked expert. Shimin Feng explained from the side. Shimin Li's strength was lower now. Giving her something like this was very practical for her. She kept the box and said happily, Thank you, future sister-in-law. Sect Master, the banquet is about to start. Shimin Chi walked over and said, When is your friend coming? One is coming soon. I don't know if the other will come. Sima Yue said. That person's whereabouts are uncertain. I don't know if I can contact him. We'll start when Qin Mo comes. Yue, I'm not happy with what you said. You're establishing a sect. Of course I have to come. The space tunnel opened again. Qin Mo and Third Mo, who they had lost contact with for a long time, came out. After they came out, the space tunnel didn't close. This meant that there were still people coming out. Chapter 927. Is there anyone else coming? Sima Yue asked curiously. Ha ha ha, of course there is. A burst of hearty laughter came from inside. Sima Yue's eyes lit up when she heard the voice. She shouted in surprise, Godfather. Ha ha, good, you still haven't forgotten your foster father. Wu Lamai's voice came from inside, followed by a group of people walking out. Godfather, godmother, brother, why are you here? Sima Yue flew towards them. Why didn't you inform us about such an important matter like establishing a sect? If Third Mo wasn't with us, we wouldn't even know about this. Wu La reproached. That's right, little sister. You're in the wrong. Wu Laxiu said. Yes, it's my fault for this matter. However, I didn't think it was anything important, so I didn't dare to trouble you to come all the way here. I was wrong, I'll let my brothers punish me later. How about that? Sima Yue held Shui Qingman's hand and said, Godmother, how have you been recently? You don't look too good. I'll take a look at you later. PFFF. Wu Laxiu and the others laughed and said, Mother isn't sick or injured. It's just that there's a baby in her stomach. Godmother is pregnant? Sima Yue looked at Shui Qingman in surprise. Shui Qingman nodded. Mother, since you're pregnant, you should be recuperating in the 9th Star Ocean. Why are you here? You're making your daughter feel guilty. Sima Yue quickly helped her to a seat below. They all wanted to come as soon as they received your message. You haven't come back to see us for a long time, so I missed you. Shui Qingman said. Moreover, I haven't seen how the people on the mainland look like, so I wanted to take a look. Let me check on you. Sima Yue took her hand, and was relieved after making sure that she was fine. I already said that I'm fine. I'm just a little tired. I'll be fine after some rest. Shui Qingman said gently. 10th sister, we know that you are establishing a sect today. We came in a hurry and did not prepare any congratulatory gifts. We could only bring you some things from the bottom of the sea. Wu Lalu said. The Prime Minister walked up and passed a few space containers to Sima Yue, saying, Congratulations to the 10th princess for establishing your sect. Thank you, Godfather, Godmother, and brothers. Thank you, Prime Minister. Sima Yue took it and scanned it with her spiritual awareness. When she saw what was inside, she couldn't help but ask, You didn't move all your treasuries here, did you? Of course not. We only moved 2 of the bigger ones, Wu Laxiu said. Only 2. Sima Yue's lips twitched. She knew about their treasure trove. Even the small one could be said to be as rich as a country. Now they even brought in 2 big ones. Anyway, those things are just sitting there. Your expenses for establishing a sect must be huge. Giving you more things is also a token of our sincerity. Don't worry about it. Wu Lalu said. That's right. You are our 10th princess. How can you be so shabby after establishing a sect? Wu Labo said. Then I'll have to thank Godfather, Godmother, and brothers. Sima Yue said with a smile. Shimanqi and the rest were shocked by this sudden scene. 10th princess? What 10th princess? This is the king and queen of the Violet Water Dragon clan of the 9th Star Ocean. There are also 9 princes. The Dragon King took in Yue as his goddaughter, so she is their 10th princess. Shiman Feng explained to everyone. Elder Mu was shocked. He knew about the 9th Star Ocean and the Violet Water Dragon clan. He didn't expect Yue to be the princess of the Violet Water Dragon clan. Aya, why are you giving gifts so quickly? Third Mo shouted. Your gifts are so big. How can I present my things? Alright, you should wait for me first. Otherwise, if you give it to me, I'll feel embarrassed. Qin Mo said. No way. You have a rich family background. I don't want to be behind you. Third Mo said as he took out a box and passed it to Sima Yue. Here, this is for you. Congratulations on establishing the sect. It's a pity that I can't join. Otherwise, I'd want to be the vice sect leader. Sima Yue opened the box and saw that there was a small map inside. There was a red line on it. She took it out to take a look and was shocked. What is this? Wu Lali came over. He couldn't understand the map and asked. This is a mineral vein. Sima Yue said. You brat, you must be having a lot of fun finding mineral veins. You give out a mineral vein right away. SSSA mineral vein. Everyone was confused. What did a mineral vein mean? Yue only had one mineral vein when she established the sect. This brat gave her one? Don't be so shocked. It's not like you can't tell that this mineral vein isn't very big. Third Emo said. I found this by chance in the past. It's already dispersed. You can go ahead and dig. Thanks. Sima Yue smiled as she kept the map. Chin Emo glared at Third Emo. I told you not to go first. You brat. Hee, even if you don't give anything, Yue won't say anything. Third Emo smiled as he sat at the side. Although it's a little embarrassing, since I've prepared it, it's a token of my appreciation. Chin Emo took out a box and gave it to her. Third Emo blinked. It was such a small box. What good stuff could he give? Did this brat copy him and give her a piece of paper? Sima Yue opened it. There was indeed paper inside. However, it wasn't a single piece of paper like Third Emo thought. It was a thick stack. Sima Yue took out the paper and looked at it. She looked at Chin Emo in shock. These are all my own forces. It has nothing to do with the clan. Chin Emo said. Third Emo came over and saw the paper. He said, Oh my good fellow. You gave the entire memory restaurant to Yue? There are even shops and shops below. Damn, they're all shops. Brat Chin, you have a few thousand shops. You gave them all away? Chin Emo took back the contract and put it in the box. He said, If you want to develop a force, you need all these. Thank you. Sima Yue said gratefully. The things they gave were very practical. It was also what she lacked the most besides manpower. If she did it herself, it wasn't that she couldn't do it. However, it would take a lot of money and energy. Moreover, this kind of spending would scare a group of people to death, who would give away a mine or a few thousand shops to someone else. Oh my, their little hearts were about to jump out. They felt more and more that Yu's friends were all here to scare people. All right, let's begin. Sima Yue said. Since everyone is gathered here today, it can be considered that our sect is officially established. The sect leader is Feng. There are also a few halls below. We have alchemy, weapon refining, beast taming, and arrays. Later on, we'll see which one everyone knows. If you don't know any, then you'll be a disciple of our storm hall. There was a sudden movement in the air, interrupting Sima Yue's words. Chapter 928. Read 336. Sima Yue raised her head and looked over. There were movements in the space there. Someone else is coming? Third Emo asked. Sima Yue shook her head. I didn't inform anyone else. Then who is it? Could it be that someone just happened to pass by and bumped into them? What a coincidence. Shimen Feng glanced at Sima Yue. She was looking at the space. I think we should see an array formation next time, one that prevents those people from breaking through space. Otherwise, it will be too dangerous in the future. She pondered. Normal people wouldn't dare to casually come in. There is a layer of poisonous miasma outside. If they came in, they wouldn't be able to endure the poison. Shimenchi said. It's safer to have one, Sima Yue said. I'm really curious. Who is it this time? You'll know when you get here. They're out. Just as Sima Yue finished her sentence, an adult and a child came out from inside. Oh, there are quite a few people here. Her eyes narrowed when she saw the two of them. Why are you here? I heard that you're going to establish a sect, so I came to take a look. Did I catch up? Shiqiu Shuang asked. Just started, Sima Yue said. Here a present. Shi Qianji gave him a spatial ring. And the reward from last time. Sima Yue scanned the room and saw the generous rewards. She smiled and said, Since you're here, you're my guest. Please. Shiqiu Shuang saw them like this and knew that they had already started. She didn't say much and followed Fengji and the others to take up the position. 10th sister, who are they? Wu Laxiu didn't think it was rude to ask in front of everyone. They are a force from the inner regions, Sima Yue said. My friend, they are here to celebrate with us. This antidote was developed by that guy together with me. Inner circle. Feng Kai and the rest felt that their boss really had a wide range of friends. What they didn't know was that if news of Yue establishing a sect got out, the situation wouldn't be like this. And there's more? There was still movement in the space. Could it be that someone else was coming? This time, however, the space did not open. Instead, a woman appeared out of thin air. This is? None of the people present recognized this woman. How powerful was she to be able to appear here directly? Sima Yue did not know this person, but she recognized her attire. Mississippi. The lady came to Sima Yue and nodded slightly. Aunt, did something happen to Aunt Feng? Sima Yue asked worriedly. She quickly went through Feng Ruyan's condition in her mind. That shouldn't be the case. Feng Ruyan's condition was still too early to deteriorate. The woman saw the sincere concern in Sima Yue's eyes and said, Master is fine. She knows that you are establishing your sect today, which is a joyous occasion. She asked me to send you a gift. She took out a box and handed it to Sima Yue, saying, Master said not to open it before you reach the monarch rank. How did Aunt Feng know that there would be a joyous occasion today? Sima Yue placed the gift down and asked curiously, You have Master's soul imprint in your body. As long as Master wills it, she will know about your condition. The woman said, However, it will consume a lot of energy every time. This time it was a coincidence that she found out about your condition. She could still sense the soul imprint after it left her body? Sima Yue was shocked. A normal soul imprint would only be sensed after the soul imprint was consumed, or the host was lost. However, Feng Ruyan could sense it now. Master said to tell you not to think too much. She will not pay special attention to you, and will not interfere with your life. The woman said. I understand. Sima Yue nodded. Aunt, please help me pass a message to Aunt Feng to thank her for the gift. To Feng Ruyan, she was not worth her time. If she really wanted to spy on her, she did not have to tell her. Master said that if Miss wants to do anything, you can do it. Even if you want to poke a hole in the sky, the Feng people will be behind you. The aunt said with a smile. Feng Ruyan was talking about the time when she was surrounded. I understand. Sima Yue said. Aunt, sit down and eat some food. No, Master is waiting for me to report back. The aunt said. Then I will have to trouble Aunt to bring something back for Aunt Feng. Sima Yue took out a jade bottle. The things inside, 1 drop for a god ranked and 3 drops for a monarch ranked. I don't know what power Aunt Feng is from, but it should have some effect on her body. After the aunt took the item, she did not look at what it was. She nodded at Sima Yue and disappeared in front of everyone. Knowing that she had left, everyone regained their senses from the strong pressure. This person is so powerful. You see, sighed. The last time they were in the dark forest, they saw Feng Ruyan's soul imprint. At that time, Sima Yue called her Aunt Feng. The master that this person was talking about should be her. The people around that woman were so powerful. Shi Qiushuang and Shi Qianji looked at each other. This person who appeared. Does Senior know? He should be from those that we have heard of. So powerful. The power behind him is definitely not weak. At least he is much more powerful than us. Yes. It seems that this power will definitely develop in the future. Shi Qianji said faintly. Not to mention others, just the people who came to congratulate her, and the gifts they gave were not something that ordinary people could do. The development of one's strength sometimes depended on the support of one's connections. And she never lacked this. Sima Yue handed the box that Feng Ruyan gave to Little Spirit to keep. Then she turned around and said to everyone, Let's continue. Until the end of the banquet, everyone still had not recovered from the shock of today. Although there were not many people who came to witness, and although they did not have many members now, everyone believed that they would develop. The sect was officially established, and the celebration lasted until midnight. Everyone toasted each other, and in the end, Those who were drunk directly fell to the ground and fell asleep. In the valley, there were many figures lying in a disorderly manner. Sima Yu and Wu Lingyu sat on the hillside and looked at the many people who were drunk, but still continued to drink. A satisfied smile hung on the corner of their lips. The sect is finally established. Sima Yu sighed and sighed. What we need to do now is to recruit people and increase our strength. Speaking of which, senior brother, you are also a guest. Why didn't you give me a gift? She was very happy receiving gifts today, and only now did she remember that the people around her had not given her a gift. Wu Lingyu looked at her and winked at her, saying, "How about giving me to you as a gift?" Che, no sincerity. After Sima Yue finished speaking, her lips were immediately covered. I am serious. Chapter 929. By the time Wu Lingyu released her, her lips were already red and swollen from his kiss. This is not a gift. She glared at him unhappily. I told you, I'm giving myself to you. Wu Lingyu chuckled. Rejected. Sima Yue tilted her head and refused to look at him. All right, since you don't like this gift, let's change it to something tackier. Wu Lingyu took out a box and opened it. Inside was an exquisite ring with a fiery red gem embedded in it. Sima Yue was stunned. Why did this guy take this out? Wu Lingyu took out the ring, pulled up her left hand, and put it on her middle finger. The ring was a little big, and when it was put on her finger, it automatically shrank. Are you proposing to me? Sima Yue did not evade. Aren't you going to ask if I'm willing? You're someone who won't change your mind once you've made up your mind. I'm already yours, Wu Lingyu said ambiguously. Come on, don't say that. Sima Yue said. You make it sound like I did something to you. Isn't that so? Wu Lingyu looked at her innocently. We agreed before that I would be your man. You agreed, you can't go back on your word. Besides, what did you do to me? When did I do anything to you? Sima Yue glared at her. This guy was spouting nonsense. You stripped me naked back then. Wu Lingyu said. Tell me, how many times have you stripped me naked? I was unconscious at that time. How would I know if you did anything to me? Even if you did something to me, I wouldn't know. Wu Lingyu said. Don't tell me you want to deny it just because my divine sense isn't clear? Sima Yue looked at his seductive and innocent eyes and felt that she could not explain herself to him. Since he couldn't explain himself, he might as well not say anything at all. Instead, he sent a slap over. Pa! Sima Yue was stunned and stared at him. Why didn't you dodge? If I dodge, you won't be able to hit me, right? Wu Lingyu replied. Sima Yue looked at him. He really lost to him. All right. Wu Lingyu held her hand and said, Take a good look at this ring. Sima Yue was puzzled. She looked at the ring again, but did not find any mechanism. Fantasy ring? That's not it either. She looked at it and didn't find anything different. Look at that gem, Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue looked at it for a while and still could not see anything. Hence, she used her divine sense to explore it. There was a blood-red seed inside the ruby. What is this? Sima Yue exited and asked in surprise. From the outside, it was impossible to discover this seed. This gem almost completely covered its aura. Plus, it was the same red color. Hence, if Wu Lingyu didn't let her look, she wouldn't have discovered it. Wu Lingyu casually set up a small enchantment and enveloped the two of them. Then he said, Do you still remember the auction in Feng City? Feng City auction? Sima Yue was stunned. Then she nodded and said, I remember. It was at that time that she wanted to find the divine sand. In the end, she didn't manage to find it. Hence, she met Feng Ruyan. At that time, what did the other party want in exchange for the divine sand? Wu Lingyu asked. The divine scar, Sima Yue said. Suddenly, the pain intensified. She looked at Wu Lingyu in disbelief and exclaimed, You're saying that the seed inside is the divine scar? Wu Lingyu looked at her shocked expression and nodded. Oh my God! Sima Yue finally understood why he set up the enchantment. Isn't this a legendary item? How did you get it? She simply couldn't believe that this item actually existed. Now it was in her hands. I got it in the past. After I fused with it, I took it back. Wu Lingyu said. He had a place where he kept his treasures. However, only his soul couldn't open it. Wu Lingyu didn't have his memories. Naturally, he didn't know about this item. Sima Yue looked at the ring on her hand. She felt as if she was about to forget to breathe. Her heart was tightly clenched by this little thing. Don't be so nervous. Wu Lingyu said. This thing is with you. No one will know. Also, it's not some divine medicine now. It's just a seed. Is this seed still alive? Sima Yue raised her head and asked. It should be. If you sense it carefully, you can still feel a trace of life inside. Wu Lingyu said. I think it's because of the gemstone outside that it can be passed down until now. Sima Yue thought so too. I'll let little spirit try it later. Let's see if he can cultivate it. I'm sure little spirit will be very interested. I heard that this seed is rather evil. It needs to be soaked in blood, and then planted in the ground. It also needs to be irrigated with blood every day. Wu Lingyu said, this is the only way it won't fly away when it matures. Fly away? Sima Yue was confused. This thing could fly away? God's scar is a divine medicine. Since it's a divine medicine, it has spirituality. It knows that humans will use it to make medicine. When it matures, it will leave the branch and fly away. Wu Lingyu explained. Only when it's irrigated with blood from the beginning can it have some connection with it. It won't reject it so much. I see. Sima Yue looked at the ruby. Divine medicine, hee. Wu Lingyu knocked her head and said, don't laugh so vulgarly. How am I vulgarly? Sima Yue covered her head. I'm just happy. This is a divine medicine. It's said that one divine medicine is worth one life. If it can bear 2 fruits, then it's 2 lives. Speaking of which, how many fruits can it bear? Divine medicine usually bears 1 fruit. There's no divine medicine in the world that can bear 2 fruits. Wu Lingyu said. Are there many divine medicines? Not many. Wu Lingyu said. There are a few in total, and they are all in the hands of the superpowers. But those lost and hidden clans are not very clear. Does the Sage Pavilion have any? Yes. It's in the main pavilion. Wu Lingyu said. Where is the main pavilion? Is it where the old guy who covets your body is? Nope. That's the main pavilion that governs the central and outer regions. The real main pavilion is in the inner regions. It's their orders that caused you to only be able to wear female clothes. Wu Lingyu said. However, with your current strength, you don't have to care about this. You're saying that I can change back to female clothes? Sima Yue's eyes lit up. Wu Lingyu thought about the way those people looked at her, and subconsciously wanted to deny it. But seeing her eyes, he nodded and said, as long as you're willing, I can settle anything for you. You can do it? Sima Yue did not believe him. Don't forget, I used to be the Devil King. My woman. What do I need to care about? Wu Lingyu rubbed her head and said dotingly. Chapter 930. Sima Yue was satisfied with his answer, but she did not intend to reveal her identity as a woman so soon. As a man, it would be much more convenient for her later actions. This matter will depend on my mood in the future. She said, what kind of divine medicine is that? Speaking of which, it has something to do with you. Wu Lingyu said, the General Pavilion's divine medicine is Phoenix Nirvana. Phoenix Nirvana? Shouldn't such a divine medicine belong to the Phoenix clan? Sima Yue was curious. How did it become the Sage Pavilion's divine medicine? Who said that the Phoenix's Nirvana belongs to the Phoenix clan? Wu Lingyu glanced at her. This divine medicine was left behind by a monarch. However, that monarch had once made a contract with a phoenix. When he was cultivating this divine medicine, he injected the last of his phoenix power into it. That's why it's called Phoenix Nirvana. Isn't that related to the phoenix? Sima Yue rolled her eyes. Is the phoenix's Nirvana also watered with blood? No. Wu Lingyu shook his head. Different divine herbs require different conditions to grow. I've only seen Phoenix Nirvana once, so I don't know who's in charge of it. If you've only seen it once, it's going to be hard to get it, Sima Yue said disappointedly. Wu Lingyu knocked on her head and said, the Sage Pavilion still has some powerful people in the Sage Pavilion. If they went now, not only would they not be able to snatch the item, but they would also be wiped out. Let's talk about it after I recover my strength. I'm just saying, Sima Yue said. She didn't expect him to send the whole world to her. He had his strength, but most of the time, she wanted to rely on her own strength to obtain things. Wu Lingyu looked at her and smiled without saying anything. By the way, with this, I can completely cure Aunt Feng's injury, Sima Yue said, but I don't think this seed is enough. It has to be grown. I've given it to you. You can do whatever you want with it. Wu Lingyu took out a tattered book and said, "This is for you too." What's this? Sima Yue took it over. The paper was so fragile that she was afraid that it would break if she touched it. There's information about Divine Scar inside. You might be able to use it, Wu Lingyu said. Such ancient data, how did you get it? Sima Yue carefully held the book, her joy overflowing from her words. Compared to the gold, silver, jewels, spirit stones and crystal stones, the things that Wu Lingyu had given her were much more tempting. It's all in the past. Because they were in the devil realm, they didn't have much use. They were all used as trump cards. I went to look through it before I came back, Wu Lingyu said. Alright, even if it was a trump card, it was still very precious. She didn't want to argue with him about this. Yue, what are you doing up there? Come down and drink. Third Mo waved at Sima Yue. Today is your big day. I've made an exception to drink with Qin Mo. But you, the main character, aren't here. What are you? Come down. Wu Lingyu removed the barrier. Sima Yue got up and flew down, saying, "Since you've broken your rules for me, we must drink until we're drunk today." 10th sister, what kind of wine is this? Why is it better than the wine from other places? Wu Laxiu staggered over and put his head on Sima Yue's shoulder. When he was 2 centimeters away from her shoulder, Sima Yue was pulled away. Wu Laxiu almost fell to the ground. Luckily, Wu Lingyu caught him. "Ninth brother, you're already drunk," Sima Yue said. "Should I get someone to send you to rest?" "I'm not drunk, I'm just a little dizzy," Wu Laxiu said. "Ninth brother, if Godfather sees you like this, he'll be angry," Sima Yue said. "Father is accompanying mother to rest. He won't see." Wu Laxiu was not afraid. "Hee, do you want to drink? Bring me along?" "Since you want to drink, how can you leave us out?" Shi Qianji also came over. Sima Yue looked around. Shi Qiushuang was sitting quietly on the seat. She did not drink much. Shi Qianji also looked back, saying, "She listened to you. She didn't drink a single drop of wine tonight. She's been drinking the fruit juice you made. Her body is still too weak. She can't drink," Sima Yue said. "That's why she's a little unhappy," Shi Qianji said. "Oh right, your senior brother gave you a gift." He took out a black metal box and stuffed it into her hands. Sima Yue was stunned. She immediately accepted the gift, saying, "He knew." Shi Qianji saw that she was only shocked for a moment before accepting the gift, saying, "I thought you wouldn't accept it." Before Master chased him out of the sect, he's still my eldest senior brother. Since that's the case, I'll naturally accept his gift. If he hears your words, he'll probably be very happy. Shi Qianji was happy for Jiang Junxian. Sima Yue raised her wine cup and clinked it with his, saying, "Cheers." She did not want to respond to Shi Qianji's words because she did not know how to say it. Jiang Junxian knew Little Seven's identity, but did not kidnap her. He even poisoned them in Little Black Lotus Realm, so that they would not fight. This showed that he valued their friendship. When she thought of this, she was still a bit moved. But when she thought of how he insisted on bringing the Sky Splitter Devil Sword back, she still felt a bit uncomfortable. Shi Qianji smiled and drank the wine in his hand. "Come, let's drink. I remember that you used to have a very good alcohol tolerance. I wonder how it is now." Third Mo pulled Sima Yue over and had her sit at the side. He raised his wine cup and drank with her. "My alcohol tolerance is not bad now. I can't compare to you, but I can still compare to Big Brother Qin. Come drink." That night, Sima Yue and the rest drank until the sky turned bright. Because Xue Qingman was not feeling well, she went to rest early last night. As a good husband, Wu Lamai naturally accompanied her at all times. When they woke up the next morning, they saw that the entire valley was filled with people hugging wine jars and sleeping on the ground. Foster father, foster mother. Sima Yue was letting people feed everyone pills to sober up. When she saw them coming out, she walked over and greeted them. "Why don't I see your senior brother?" Shui Qingman asked when she saw her. Senior brother still had things to settle, so he left in the latter half of last night. Foster mother, are you looking for him for something? Sima Yue asked. It's nothing much. Didn't I find out about you and him last night? So I wanted to find him to check on you. Shui Qingman said. I didn't expect him to leave so early. Was this the rhythm of checking on her as a member of her family? Sima Yue could not help but think to herself. Foster mother, you saw him last night. Let's leave the scolding for another time, she said with a smile. When I took your pulse yesterday, I found that your body was a bit weak. I'm afraid that pregnancy will be more difficult. Let me take a good look at you today, alright? Chapter 931. Yue, what happened to your adoptive mother? Quick, take a look at her. Wu Lamai panicked when he heard Yue say that Shui Qingman's body wasn't well. Godfather, there's no need to panic. Godmother is fine for now. I'll have to do a thorough check to know the details. Sima Yue said. Then quickly give her a checkup. Wu Lamai said. These days, your foster mother feels that being pregnant is different from being pregnant with your 9 brothers. You don't have to be so alarmed. Shui Qingman looked at Wu Lamai's nervous expression and said. Godmother, let's go into the house. I'll help you hold on for a while. Sima Yue said. All right. Not far away, Wu La Li and the others heard the commotion and followed in with the drunk Wu La Xiao. 10th sister, what happened to Imperial Mother? I haven't checked yet. Why are all of you here? Sima Yue glanced at them. Don't make a sound. The brothers stopped talking and waited for her results. Seeing her face getting darker and darker, and her eyebrows getting tighter and tighter, everyone's heart sank. When she was done, no one dared to speak when they saw her expression. The atmosphere in the room was a little heavy for a moment. It was Wu Lamai who broke the silence and asked, Yue, how is your adoptive mother? Sima Yue sighed and said, Foster mother's injury was delayed for a long time. Although her body has recovered, it's still too early for a female. Pregnancy requires the mother's energy, but the body can't support it, so now the body is a little empty, and the energy can't keep up. Is this serious? Wu Lalu asked. This situation isn't that serious, but we can't underestimate it either. Fortunately, it was discovered early, so it didn't endanger the health of foster mother and the fetus, Sima Yue said. It's just that the treatment is more troublesome and will take some time. How do we treat it? Ural asked. Every day, I will use spiritual energy to recuperate Imperial Mother's body. Then I will use medicinal cuisine and pills to recuperate, Sima Yue said. Imperial Mother's body is already a little weak, so she can't be nourished directly. She needs to take it slowly. Therefore, foster mother, don't return to the 9th star ocean for the time being. How long will it take? Wu Lali asked. At least half a year, Sima Yue said. It's best if you can raise her until she gives birth. Then Imperial Mother can stay here with 10th sister. Wu Lali said. Let's not go back this time. Let's recover first. This time we'll stay behind. I'll leave the matters of the clan to you and your brothers. Wu Lamai directly decided on what to do next. Shui Qingman wanted to say something, but she chose to remain silent. She didn't want to joke about herself and the child in her belly, but if she didn't go back, it was impossible for Wu Lamai to go back. The extent to which this guy stuck to her was indescribable. In any case, when Imperial Mother was unconscious in the past, second brother was the one handling the clan's affairs. Wu Labo said, Imperial Father, Imperial Mother, don't worry. There won't be any trouble. Well, since that's the case, you should go back early. If there was anything, he should discuss it with the Prime Minister. If you really can't solve it, contact me, Wu Lamai said. Yes, Father. Then you can go back today. Imperial Father, do you have to chase them away so quickly? Let's wait for Imperial Mother's condition to get better before going back. Wu Lali was more daring and dared to raise an objection. Unfortunately, it wasn't accepted. There's no use for you to stay here. The Ninth Star Ocean isn't peaceful yet. You should hurry back. If those guys attack again, just fight back. There's no need to be merciful. Wu Lamai said. But Imperial Mother's condition? You don't have to worry about Adoptive Mother's condition. I'll help her recuperate. Sima Yue said. Then we'll have to trouble 10th sister. She saved Shui Qingman the last time and refined so many pills for them. She was a godly doctor in their hearts. When she said that there would be no problem, they were all reassured. Brothers, don't worry. Sima Yue said. Have you been fighting all this while? Are there enough pills? If there's not enough, I'll refine some more for you to bring back. There's still a lot left. Wu Lalu said. We took so many back the last time. We didn't fight much after that, so we didn't consume much. When there's no more, we'll ask you for more. That's good too. You have to tell us in advance. Don't wait until there's no more. Sima Yue said. If you want to refine more, it'll take some time. Okay. All right. Hurry back. Wu Lamai said. Don't delay Yue from helping Qingman recuperate. Although they were unwilling, there was indeed something going on in the clan. They couldn't leave no one to oversee things. Hence, they could only return. Hence, the drunk Wu Laxiao and the Prime Minister were dragged away by them. When they left, they were still shouting that they wanted to drink more. Adoptive Mother, I'll help you with the acupuncture first. Sima Yue said. What about your guests? Do you want to go and greet them? Shui Qingman asked. No need. They drank too much last night. They're still sobering up. Even if they're sober, Feng and the rest will take care of them. Sima Yue said. Adoptive Mother, come. Shui Qingman nodded and chased Wu Lamai out. It wasn't the first time Sima Yue did acupuncture for her. But in the past, she was unconscious. Now that she was pregnant, she was a little nervous. Adoptive Mother, you don't have to think too much. Just relax. You'll be fine very soon. Sima Yue comforted. Okay. Sima Yue didn't spend too much time this time. It was done in about half an hour. She helped Shui Qingman put on her clothes and said, I'll refine some pills for you later. Just take the pills and you'll be fine. Will that do? Shui Qingman asked. That won't do. Sima Yue said. The fetus in your womb is a little weak because of the lack of nutrition. I'll use my spiritual energy to nourish it for a period of time every day. So we have to do 3 things every day. That's acupuncture, taking pills and nourishing with spiritual energy. After half a month, we'll see how it goes. If it's fine, we won't have to do acupuncture anymore. Thank you, child. Shui Qingman said gently. Sima Yue smiled and said, You're the adoptive mother. This child is also my younger brother and sister. You don't have to be so courteous with me. Oh right, pregnancy is the best time to nourish the fetus. If you nourish it well, your younger brother and sister's talents will be very good in the future. Just like my younger sister. Her too. I nourished them when my mother was pregnant. That's why was born with a god-ranked body. Her body is also stronger. Sima Yue said. She just didn't know when the little doe would be able to transform and end the days of absorbing spiritual energy. Although it can't be compared to the Ninth Star Ocean, it's quieter here. It's also more convenient for my treatment. Sima Yue said. Mother, I'll have to trouble you to stay here. It's already not bad. Shui Qingman held her hand. You've already put in a lot of effort. It's easier for me to operate here. I won't be disturbed. Sima Yue touched Shui Qingman's stomach. It's very weak now. It can't be stimulated. If it's interrupted during the treatment, it will be harmful to it. It will definitely know that it has such a good sister like you. I'll have a good younger brother and sister too. Sima Yue said. Mother, if you have nothing to do outside, you can stay here. All right. King, do you have anything else? Wu Lamai shook his head. His job was to accompany her. Other things didn't matter. Then you can stay here. I'll replenish the baby's spiritual energy for today. Then, I'll go and develop the pill. All right. Sima Yue let Shui Qingman go into the water and transform into her original form. Then she went to her stomach and found the position of the baby. She covered it with her hand and transferred her spiritual energy into her body. She found the little life and wrapped it up. After the little life came into contact with her spiritual power, it moved comfortably. After a while, Sima Yue retracted her hand and said, I left a part of my spiritual energy to wrap it up. I'll continue it tomorrow. Wu Lamai saw that she looked a little tired. Thinking that she still had things to settle, he suggested, Why don't you let me do the daily transfer of spiritual energy? Sima Yue shook her head and said, Father's spiritual energy is different from mine. My spiritual energy has a healing effect. Father's spiritual energy is more domineering. So it's not suitable for father to transfer spiritual energy to the baby. But father can transfer some to mother. Every day, he can help mother move around her body and give her some strength. They were like this. The older one was protecting the older one, and the younger one was protecting the younger one. That's fine too, Wu Lamai said. Don't be too tired, Shui Qingman said with heartache. Mother, don't worry. I won't mess around. After all, this is a long-term thing. If I'm too tired today, how can I continue tomorrow? Sima Yue smiled. Mother, you need to rest now. That way, the baby will be more comfortable. I'll go and create some pills for you. There's someone outside looking for me. I'll go out for a while. Okay, go ahead, Shui Qingman said. Okay. Sima Yue went out and saw Shimin Li calling her. Li, big sister. Li saw Sima Yue come out and knew that she must have gone to the little realm or spirit pagoda. She wasn't surprised. What's the matter? Sima Yue asked. It's Shi Qianji and his junior sister. They said that they have something to do and have to go back. They want to say goodbye to you, Shimin Li said. Chapter 933. Sima Yue raised her head and looked at him as he walked over slowly. Needless to say, she knew what he was thinking from the look in his eyes. You're leaving too? Yes. Third Mo nodded. I haven't found the thing I'm looking for, so I have to continue. In the Ninth Star Ocean. I used to think that it was, but later on I realized that it wasn't. Third Mo said. What are you looking for? Tell me and I might be able to help you, Sima Yue said. Third Mo shook his head. You're already very busy. Let me handle my own matters. If there's anything you need me to do, just tell me. Sima Yue looked at him. Since he didn't want to say anything, she didn't ask. Amen, I'll definitely tell you if I need anything. Third Mo said. You should practice your pill refining skills more. Who knows, I might ask you to refine pills in the future. All right. I didn't expect that guy to lure you away so easily. Although I don't like him very much, you can ask him to do more for you if you need anything. Don't think that you're so easy to get. Do you understand? All right. If you two get married in the future, I want to attend as part of your family. All right. Third Mo saw that she only smiled and agreed. He reached out and patted her head saying, I'm leaving. Contact me if you need anything. Take care. Sima Yue felt a little sad as she watched him open the spatial tunnel and walk in. Yue. Qin Mo brought his men over. When Sima Yue saw that everyone was here, she said, Big brother Qin, are you leaving too? Yes, I'm sorry. I wanted to accompany you for a few more days. I know you're busy, it's okay. Sima Yue said. When you're done with your work, we'll meet again. Yes. I'll take my leave then. The old man beside Qin Mo opened a spatial tunnel. Just as Qin Mo was about to enter, he thought of something. He turned around and said, If he bullies you, tell me. I will help you beat him up. Okay. Sima Yue smiled and nodded. Seeing her nod, he then left with his men. As everyone left, Shimin Li saw that Sima Yue had returned after a month and asked. Yes, they've all left. Sima Yue said. Where's Elder Mu? Second brother and future sister-in-law sent him away early in the morning. Shimin Li said. So most of the guests have left. What should we do next? In a sect, There were always some things that needed to be done, but no one had told her about them. Your task now is to absorb as much as you can and let your dough take shape as soon as possible, Sima Yue said. We'll take care of the rest. But you'll be very busy. Didn't we talk about it last night? Feng Er, Uncle Chi, Auntie, and third mother, everyone will deal with different things. Just focus on your cultivation. We will only be able to explore the higher realms when we are strong enough. Sima Yue said. Yes. I will do my best. I'm going into seclusion to refine pills today. Tell them not to disturb me. Sima Yue said. All right. I'll go tell everyone. After Shimonli left, Sima Yue set up a barrier in the house before entering the spirit pagoda. She refined all the pills that Shui Qingman needed during this period of time before going out. She went to Little Black Lotus Realm and passed the pills to them. When she came out, she was finally done with today's matters and the sky was already dark. She cracked her neck and removed the barrier to go out and look for everyone. Fatty Chu and the rest were gathered together to eat. After a day of rest, the hangover from last night had already disappeared, and they were all very energetic. Yue, come quickly. We're just about to start eating. Fatty Chu waved at her. Sima Yue walked over and sat beside Bei Gong Tang, saying, Luckily I made it in time. Otherwise, this delicacy would have passed me by. Bei Gong Tang gave her a skewer of barbecued meat, saying, The food you make is the best. How can you miss it? You guys make different ones. Sima Yue took a bite and it tasted delicious. Yue, we were too busy yesterday and there's something we didn't tell you, Wei Ziqi said. What's the matter? Sima Yue asked when she saw their serious expressions. The sect said that a little realm will be open soon. Those in the top 500 of the billboard can enter. Sima Yue said, We plan to go in. All right. Sima Yue didn't think much of it. The little realm is rich in spirit energy and there are many opportunities. It'll be good for you guys to go in and cultivate. Of course we have to go. But, what are the requirements of the little realm? Only those below the divine saint rank can enter. Wei Ziqi said. So you can't go. You all want to go? Sima Yue glanced at everyone. Then I'll wait here for you guys to come out. You don't have to care about the sex matters now. It's more important to work hard to raise your own strength. And to develop the sect. It's not something that can be done in a day. Although we've been officially established, we still need some time to develop. Right, how long will you guys be gone? It's said that the little realm can be opened for 10 years. 10 years, that's okay. It'll be over quickly if you cultivate. Sima Yue said. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys come out in 10 years. We're looking forward to it too. When are you leaving? The sect said that we'll leave in 10 days. You guys still have to go back to the sect to prepare. Excluding the time spent on the road, it's best that you guys leave tomorrow. Sima Yue said. We're planning to go back tomorrow. All right, then I wish all of you good luck in obtaining great opportunities. You'll all break through to the divine saint rank when you come out. Cheers. Cheers. Wu Lingyu didn't come back, so when they left on the second day, they used a teleportation array. Mao Sanquan knew that they were coming to the central regions, and gave them a temporary teleportation array to return to the sect directly. It's only been 2 days and these guys are going back. Little Seven said. It's weird not seeing them for so long. Can't bear to see them leave? Sima Yue hugged her shoulder. 10 years will pass quickly, they'll be back after a few closed-door cultivation. We don't have time to go into closed-door cultivation. Little Seven said. We're going to recruit people. You only have a little more than 2 months left. It's easy to recruit people. Sima Yue said. Once we've settled everything here, we'll go recruit people. Is there anything else? Little Seven asked. Yes, we'll go and choose a place to release the Orvane. Let's go, we'll choose a place. Alright, are we going to recruit people after releasing the Orvane? Where are we going to recruit people? Are we going to use force to conquer them? You don't worry, I'll beat them up until they're kneeling on the ground and singing conquer. Ha! Little Seven, girls should be virtuous. Chapter 934. Read 336. Many days later, Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand, followed by Feng Kai and Shurchen. They appeared in front of a city gate. The guards of the Feng clan came out before she left, saying that they must follow her wherever she went and protect her safety. Sima Yue could not win against them, and could only keep them in her little realm. This time, all of them were kept in her little realm. Feng 1, Feng 2 and the rest did not have to fight over who would stay by her side. Boss, this is Blood Fiend City. Shurchen said. As long as we enter the city gates, we have to follow the rules here. This is the rule of the Blood Fiend City's city lord? Sima Yue asked. No, this is a rule that everyone agrees to. If anyone dares to not abide by the rules, the entire city will not tolerate him. Shurchen said. Blood Fiend City's name is Bloody, but no one is allowed to kill inside. This rule is weird. Little Seven said. This Blood Fiend City stands outside of all the powerhouses, and is not restricted by any powerhouses. Those who are being chased will also be protected here. As long as they don't leave this city, they won't be chased by their enemies. Fengji said. So the people here are basically all enemies. Why didn't those enemies chase after him when they came here? Little Seven didn't understand. If it was me, even if he escaped inside, I would kill him. The city lord of Blood Fiend City had always been very mysterious and not many people had seen them before. However, they were very strong. There was once someone who wanted to kill his own enemy and didn't care about the rules here, and insisted that Blood Fiend City hand over the person. He even gathered a lot of forces and wanted to forcefully attack the city, but in the end, he left with his tail between his legs. Feng Kai said. So powerful? That was 1,000 years ago. But since then, no one has dared to come here and cause trouble. When those fugitives enter this place, it's like entering a sturdy cage. Shurchen said. A sturdy cage? Sima Yue looked at him. Why didn't you come here back then? We've been here before. We've lived here for a while. After that he left again. Shurchen said. Why did you leave? There's no freedom here. Shurchen said. People are trapped here for their whole lives. That kind of feeling is very uncomfortable. Furthermore, and what? I can't increase my strength here. Unable to increase his strength? That's right. No matter how you cultivate, your strength won't increase. How strong were you when you entered this place 100 years ago? 100 years later, you are still the same. You won't grow. There's such a strange thing? Why? I don't know. Perhaps being unable to improve their strength for the rest of their lives is the price of these people's survival. Feng Kai said. A deal. Sima Yue smiled with interest. Let's go, let us take a look at the Blood Fiend City. The four of them arrived at the city gate. There were no soldiers guarding it, but the city gate was tightly shut. Shurchen took out 10 high-grade crystal stones and placed them in a secret groove on the city wall. After the secret groove was absorbed, the city gate slowly opened. So magical. Little Seven looked up at the door and widened her eyes in shock. There has always been no one managing this place. If you want to go in, you just need to put a high-grade crystal stone here. Shurchen explained. So powerful. Little Seven went to touch the door, but she didn't find anything different. Let's go in. Feng Kai said to Sima Yue, who was in a daze. Sima Yue retracted her gaze from the city gate and nodded to Feng Kai. All right. They entered the city and the city gates immediately slammed shut. Hearing the dull sound, Sima Yue subconsciously furrowed her eyebrows. Brother Feng Kai, are we going to recruit people now? Little Seven asked. It's morning now and no one is out yet. We need to find an inn to rest. Feng Kai said. Then we'll come out at night? How are we going to recruit people? Directly? You'll know at night. Feng Kai smiled and said, We can't discuss this matter here. We'll be beaten up. Someone wants to beat me? All right, let him come. Feng Kai's face was filled with black lines, as he had a feeling that he couldn't communicate with her. Sima Yue shook her head and held Little Seven's hand, saying, Let's go, we'll find an inn to stay in. We had a friend when we were living here in the past, who happened to own an inn. Let's go there. Feng Kai said. Okay. They walked in the city for 2 hours before arriving at the inn. Here many people live here, so there are very few inns. The inn we're going to is a little old, but it's the closest one to here. Feng Kai explained. Although the owner of the inn looks a little scary and his temper isn't very good, once he has set his mind on someone, he will treat them with all his heart. We're here. Sima Yue raised her head and looked at the so-called inn. It was a wooden house that had been weathered. Only half of the inn's signboard was left, and it was still hanging crookedly on the door. There was a hole in one of the old wooden doors, while the other one was blown by the wind and fell to the ground, breaking into pieces. This was really a little old. A man in hemp clothes with the left side of his face completely burnt came out and threw the few pieces of wood to one side, saying, "Really, what kind of evil wind is blowing so early in the morning? I told you to change the door earlier, but you were lazy. Now the wind helped you change it." Feng Kai crossed his arms and looked at the man as he said. That man saw Feng Kai and the rest and raised his eyebrows in surprise, saying, "I was wondering why the door would fall, so it was you guys who did it. After leaving for so many years, why did you come back?" "We came back for some matters," Shurchen said. "Old Bai, do you still have a room here?" Bai Sheng glanced at Sima Yue and the rest, saying, "Since when did I not have a room here? Come in." Sima Yue and Little Seven went in, thinking that they would see a very sloppy inn, but they didn't expect that although the things here were old, they were very clean. "Why is it just the two of you? Where are your brothers?" Bai Sheng went behind the counter and took out an old book, asking without raising his head. "Outside," Shurchen said. Bai Sheng looked at his book and raised his head to ask, "How many of you are staying here?" "There are 4 of us, 2 rooms will do," Feng Kai said. "4 of us, how is 2 rooms enough? The rooms here are so expensive, if there are 2 more rooms, wouldn't it give you more chances to suck our blood?" Feng Kai raised his eyebrows. "Unless you give it to us for free. Then you better have 2 rooms. Bai Sheng said, "The 2 rooms at the end of the 2nd floor, go there yourself." Sima Yue saw that he closed the book and was preparing to lie down on the chaise lounge at the back. She looked at Feng Kai suspiciously. Did the shopkeeper miss out on something? Chapter 935. Read 336. She didn't say anything, but Bai Sheng seemed to know what she was thinking and said, "There's no key to this room, just look after your things." "No key? Your inn is really strange," Little Seven said. "In Bloodfiend City, is the key useful?" Bai Sheng asked back. It seems like it's useless," Little Seven said, "but it's still a formality. That sort of thing is so troublesome. You all know my rules, so I won't say much." Bai Sheng laid down after he finished speaking, not caring if they went upstairs or not. Sima Yue pursed her lips. This person was really casual. "He's a bit lazy. Boss, don't mind him," Shurchen said. The word boss made Bai Sheng, who had his eyes closed, awake. "Boss, you guys went out and acknowledged her as your boss?" He glanced at Sima Yue. "Why is she a little girl? Don't tell me you 10 brothers are regressing as you live. So what if I'm a little doll? Even a little doll can beat you up." Little Seven waved her fist and said unhappily, "Not human." Bai Sheng looked at Little Seven, then remembered something was wrong. "Shurchen, you've recovered from your illness? Don't tell me you want this person to treat you, and then you will recognize her as your boss?" "More or less." Shurchen did not deny it. Bai Sheng was interested in Sima Yue and said, "Why did you guys come back this time? Did you follow her here, or did she follow you here? Is there a difference?" "Of course." Bai Sheng sat up and said, "You guys came with her to settle her matters. If she followed you here, then she must be doing something for you." "We'll follow her," Feng Kai said. "That's strange. Not only did you guys acknowledge your boss, you're even following her around. This isn't like you guys." Bai Sheng's body suddenly flashed and appeared in front of Sima Yue as he attacked her with his palm. Sima Yue could feel the sharp wind coming from his palm. Her body flashed, and she took a step back to avoid his attack. Then he attacked him with the same posture. What incredible speed! Bai Sheng squinted his eyes and looked at Sima Yue's attack. He clenched his fists and welcomed it. This brat was using his own moves to fight back. You, let me help you. Little Seven rolled up her sleeves and was about to rush forward. Little Seven, boss will be fine. Shurchen pulled her and said. But Little Seven was worried. This ugly person looked very powerful. What if Yu was injured by him? Old Bai knows his limits. Didn't you see that they didn't use any spirit energy? Feng Kai said. He didn't use any spiritual power, just pure close-range attacks. Little Seven knew that Sima Yue was good at this, so she was relieved. She didn't insist on going, but she was still prepared to take action. Sima Yue fought with Bai Sheng for more than 10 minutes and she was not at a disadvantage at all. This made Feng Kai and Shurchen very surprised. Old Bai's physical attacks are very strong. I didn't think that he would still be unable to take down boss after so long. Feng Kai sighed. Old Bai suppressed his strength. Moreover, he didn't use any spiritual energy. Shurchen said. That's true. Old Bai's strong point is his spiritual body as one. His fighting power is off the charts. Feng Kai said. But boss is still very strong to be able to fight with him for so long. At least you and I can't. Indeed. Shurchen looked at Sima Yue. Sometimes I wonder if boss is a demon. Maybe. But normal demons aren't as abnormal as her. Feng Kai agreed. She's definitely a demon among demons. Ha! Baixing shouted. The two of them separated from each other and looked at each other cautiously. All right, Old Bai. You're already so old. Don't bully our boss, Shurchen said. If you continue fighting, your broken house will collapse. If it really collapses, I'll be happy too. Baisheng looked at Sima Yue with a strong fighting spirit. But Sima Yue kept her palm and said, I don't have the mood to accompany you. Not fighting anymore? Baisheng was having a good time. How could she not fight? Why should I fight with you? Sima Yue glanced at him and said, You attacked me for no reason. I haven't settled the score with you yet. Then come and settle the score with me, Baisheng said. Not interested. Sima Yue turned and walked upstairs and said, Little Seven, let's go and rest. All right. Little Seven knew Baisheng's feeling of wanting to fight, but not being able to. It was definitely uncomfortable to be left hanging. Yu Yu's move was too good. Baisheng saw that Sima Yue really left. He didn't agree and sneaked an attack towards Sima Yue's back. Woo! Sima Yue turned and looked at him. He suddenly froze in midair and couldn't move. His mouth seemed to be saying something but there was no sound at all. Ha ha! Little Seven saw his comical look and laughed unkindly. Let's go, Little Seven, Sima Yue said. She saw the shaky staircase. She struggled for a while but still gave up. She flew up to the second floor and Little Seven followed her up. At the corner of the second floor, she softly said break, and Baisheng descended from the sky. Baisheng landed and stood properly. When he raised his head, Sima Yue was already gone. Damn, this guy is actually an array master. Why didn't you tell me? He shouted at Feng Kai and the rest. You didn't ask anything and just attacked our boss directly. Feng Kai gloated and said, Our boss didn't pursue the matter with you. That's already very kind of you. You too, motherf asterisk curs. See if I don't beat you to death. You couldn't beat us to death in the past and you can't beat us to death now. Shurchen said. There were 10 of you in the past. Now there's only 2. Let's beat you to death first. We have a boss now. Feng Kai didn't mind dragging Sima Yue out. You have guts. Old Bai, how's our boss? Feng Kai asked. Not bad, she has some ability, Bai Sheng said. Although I didn't use spiritual energy, but she's the first one who could fight with me in close combat for so long. Speed, ruthlessness, accuracy, she's not bad at all. She's someone with battle experience. If she went to the blood arena, she'd definitely be in the top 500. Top 500? Shurchen shook his head. If she went, she'd be able to kill her way to the end. Don't belittle the people in the blood arena. All of them don't care about their lives when they fight, Bai Sheng said. But the few of you refused to bow down to others. Why did you acknowledge her as your boss? Shurchen, is your body really fine? Completely fine. Shurchen nodded. Then why did you come back this time? Bai Xing waved his hand, and the broken pieces of the table and chairs disappeared. To recruit. Shurchen said faintly. How is it? Do you want to join us? Chapter 936. When Bai Xing heard Shurchen's words, he looked at him like he was looking at a monster. Are you kidding me? Shurchen waved his hand, and a broken chair moved over. He sat down and said, Do you think we're joking? Feng Kai had already sat down. The two of them looked at him. Their eyes really didn't look like they were joking. Are you really here to recruit? Bai Xing waved his hand and his broken chair flew out. He laid down and touched his waist, which was in pain from the beating just now. This brat was really ruthless. Don't be so sneaky. It's good enough that boss didn't break you apart with his strength. If you want to rub, then rub. Feng Kai said. Don't talk about me. I asked you guys just now, are you guys really here to recruit? Bai Xing asked. Yes. You can really consider leaving this place and living outside. Shurchen Yu said. You've been holed up here for so many years. Don't you miss the outside world? What's there to miss? I'm fine here. Bai Xing rejected without hesitation. Really? Don't tell me you don't mind that your strength can't increase? Shurchen asked. Bai Xing's movements froze for a moment. Then he returned to normal and said, I don't mind. As if. You really think we don't understand you? Feng Kai said. Leave here and start a new life. I will be able to walk the continent openly. What do you think? Bai Xing said. The people here all have enemies watching them from the outside. Once they walk out of here, they will immediately be hunted down. You still dare to come here to recruit people? Was he planning to bring back a bunch of enemies? Are you sure you're normal now? What do you think? I think it's almost abnormal. Bai Xing shook his head and said. Over the years, the people here have always come to seek revenge. No one has ever come to recruit. If this isn't a lunatic, then what is? Old Bai, as a friend, we are telling you all this. This may be your only chance to live openly under the sun. Don't miss it. Feng Kai said. Then are you living a normal life now? Have those enemies of yours given up on pursuing you? Bai Xing asked in return. There isn't one now, but that doesn't mean there won't be one in the future. Shurchen said. And I can say with certainty that there will be one in the future. Because of her? Bai Xing glanced at the second floor. Yes. Shurchen admitted. If you stay by her side, you will realize that she is someone who can bring you hope. Hope. Do you think people like us would still have the idea of hope? Bai Xing lamented. The people who enter this place live a dark life. And they are all greedy for life and afraid of death. That's why I'm hiding in this corner, licking my past life. But we see hope. We believe that one day it will be possible. For the sake of that day, we'd rather take a gamble than be imprisoned forever. Feng Kai said longingly. The 10 of you have always been restless. If not, you wouldn't have stayed here, and even went out. Bai Xing said. But you are still young, you still have drive in life. Forget about my old bones. Since you've made up your mind, we won't say anything more. We should be staying here for a period of time. When we leave, if you change your mind, I think boss will be very willing to accept you. Bai Xing laughed, and didn't take his words to heart. To follow a little imp, this kind of life was never what he wanted. And the life that he wanted wasn't something that a little imp could give him. Are we going to the blood arena tonight? From today onwards, we will start recruiting people. But don't tell anyone about this, or else it will cause a commotion. I know, I still have some sense of propriety. Sima Yue returned to the house and casually set up a boundary, then brought Little Seven to the Black Lotus Little Realm. Once she entered, 2 dragons emerged from the waters. Godfather, Godmother. Sima Yue greeted them. Godmother, how do you feel today? I can feel that it seems to be more energetic. Shui Qingman said. Have you guys reached Bloodfiend City? We just arrived. It's still early, so we haven't gone to recruit people yet. Sima Yue said. I'll inject some spiritual energy into it first. Shui Qingman nodded and shifted her abdomen in front of her. Sima Yue found the fetus with ease. She could feel that the little life's vitality had indeed become stronger. After treating Shui Qingman, she said, Godmother has been recuperating well these 2 days. Your body is much better than before. Do you feel that your body has become more energetic? Shui Qingman nodded. Previously when I was pregnant, I felt that my body wasn't feeling well. I thought it was normal because I was injured. But I didn't expect it to be so dangerous. If I didn't come to meet you this time, I don't know what would happen next. Perhaps, I won't be able to save it. You're lucky this time, Wu Lamai said. Originally everyone didn't agree for her to come, but she insisted on coming. They couldn't persuade her so they agreed. Now he could only think. Luckily he let her come. After a few more days of acupuncture, we can only use pills to recuperate. Sima Yue said, the fetus's condition has stabilized. I'll do some research in a few days, then we can start to improve its innate talent. Aren't you busy with recruiting people recently? It doesn't conflict with this. Sima Yue said, recuperating the fetus in the day, recruiting people at night. And we don't have to do it every day. That's good. It's almost time to go out. I'll go out first. I'll come back tomorrow. Go and do your work. Okay. When Sima Yue held little Seven's hand and came down from the second floor, the three of them were chatting. Seeing Sima Yue coming down, Baisheng squinted his eyes, thinking if he should go and fight with her again. If you can't take me down in 10 minutes, then follow me. If you can't do it, then don't think about fighting with me. Sima Yue said before he could. Baisheng's impulse was instantly suppressed. This fellow, she really knew how to catch people's weakness. It's about time, let's go. Feng Kai stood up and said, you guys really want to go to Blood Arena? Baisheng asked again. Of course, this is our destination this time. Shurchen stood up. The chair he was sitting on just now creaked and fell apart. He shook his head and said, how many times have I told you, don't be so lazy, this thing should be changed to a new one. I'm willing. Baisheng said. Also, if you break my chair, remember to pay for it. This fellow kept these broken things and didn't change them, just to cheat other people's money, right? Chapter 937. Bloodfiend City didn't allow killing, but there was a cruel arena called Blood Arena. Only in the arena of the Blood Arena, life and death did not matter. If there was a problem that couldn't be solved outside the Blood Arena, then it could be solved in the Blood Arena. It was said that people would die in the Blood Arena every day. Most of them died in a cruel manner, and blood flowed endlessly. The Blood Arena was filled with bright red blood every day, which was why it was called the Blood Arena. Under Feng Kai's forceful tug, Baisheng was dragged to the Blood Arena. Along the way, Sima Yue saw that the houses were relatively dilapidated, and there were very few shops. Most of them were pill shops. According to Feng Kai, most of these pill shops sold healing pills, but the quality was not very good. These people are just here to eat and wait for death. Why would they buy other medicinal pills? Only people who frequent the Blood Arena would come to buy pills. Shurchen said. When they arrived at the entrance of the Blood Arena, the gatekeeper was surprised to see Feng Kai and Shurchen. He was even more surprised to see Baisheng following behind them. Master Bai, what brings you here today? A manager came out from inside and bowed to Baisheng. A gust of evil wind. Baisheng glared at Feng Kai as he spoke, then said to the steward, all right, don't just stand there. Go get me a private room. If Master Bai is here, there will definitely be private rooms. Master Bai, please. The steward gestured for him to enter, and Baisheng wobbled in with his hands behind his back. It was said that the Blood Arena's status in Bloodfiend City was second only to the City Lord's residence, and no one dared to behave atrociously in the Blood Arena. Sima Yue looked at Baisheng and didn't expect him to have such a high status in Bloodfiend City. Boss, let's go, Shurchen said to Sima Yue. Yes. They followed him in, and the manager led them directly to the private room upstairs. Sima Yue had been observing the environment ever since she entered. The entire Blood Arena was dark, and only the arena had some light. The surrounding rooms and stands were almost pitch black. Is there no light here? Little Seven asked. Everyone here likes to watch others kill each other in the dark, so they usually don't turn on the lights. If anyone likes it, they can light it themselves. Feng Kai explained to her. These two look unfamiliar. Have they just arrived at Bloodfiend City? The steward asked. Yes. Sima Yue nodded. Then please come here often in the future. This is a very interesting place. The steward said meaningfully. They came to a private room. The steward removed the sign hanging on it and said, Master Bai here. Baixing took out a top-grade crystal and said, Go down. I'll call you if I need anything. Yes, Master Bai. Then I'll take my leave first. The steward took the high-grade crystal stones and left happily. Why are all the top-grade crystals used here? Sima Yue asked as she looked at the manager's back. Because in Bloodfiend City, absorbing spiritual energy by oneself will not increase one's strength. Only those who absorb high-grade crystals can do so. Therefore, only high-grade crystals are in circulation. Shurchen continued. So before escaping to Bloodfiend City, everyone would exchange their middle and lower grade for upper grade. Then what if they came in without exchanging? Little Seven asked. That doesn't matter. Bloodfiend City has an exchange bank, and they can go there to exchange. Then the exchange rate will definitely be different. Sima Yue said. Yes, they can only exchange for 80% of the outside. 20% less. This bank is really black-hearted. Little Seven said. It's not that the bank is black-hearted. It's just that the people in the bank have to go outside to exchange. And there's a certain risk. Baisheng took out a luminous pearl the size of a baby's head. The entire room instantly lit up, but it wasn't as glaring as the lights. Wow, such a huge luminous pearl. Little Seven went up to compare, and this luminous pearl was almost as big as her head. Do you like it? You can exchange with me with crystals. Baisheng smiled as he said. Little Seven shook her head. If I like it, I'll just snatch it. There's no point in exchanging. Baisheng's words were blocked by her. There aren't many people now. When will the battle start? Sima Yue sat down and asked. There's still half an hour. Are there always so few people? If it was, then they might not be able to choose good people. Most people would only come a few minutes before the battle starts. Shurchen said. We want to choose people, so we came earlier to see the situation here. Big brother Shurchen, who are the people who are fighting here? Why would they come here? Little Seven asked curiously. Some have grudges, some are here to fight in the arena. Shurchen replied. Fight in the arena? What's the benefit of that? According to the number of battles they persevere in, they can get rewards from the blood arena. There are 20 battles in one night. If they can persevere in 20 battles, then they can get 50 upper-grade crystals as a reward. One upper-grade crystal is equivalent to 1,000 middle-grade crystals. Then 50 of them would be 50,000 middle-grade crystals. 50 million lower-grade crystals. To earn so much in one night, that's not bad. Little Seven counted with her fingers. No, most people can't persevere for so long. To be able to persevere in 10 battles is already not bad. Feng Kai said, this kind of person is called the king of the 10 battles. Most of them can only last 3 to 5 battles. Becoming the king of the 10 battles is very impressive. Little Seven said, then when I go down, I will definitely become the king of the 20 battles. Why is the blood arena giving out such a reward? Sima Yue didn't understand. Maybe it's to bring some waves to their stagnant life. Who knows? Baisheng snorted at the side. Then what are the conditions to go for the battle? Sima Yue asked. There must be blood. Feng Kai said. If there's no blood, then the battle won't be counted. The blood arena won't give any rewards. Not knowing why, Sima Yue had a weird feeling when she heard that there must be blood. Other than those who are willing to go, the blood arena also has specially trained fighters. Those who challenge these fighters can get more rewards. Shurchen said. But these fighters are born for battle. Their fighting power is much stronger than normal people. It's not an easy thing to win against them. This blood arena is so strange. Sima Yue mumbled. In this Bloodfiend City, people don't care if it's strange or not. They just want some waves in their lives. Baisheng seemed to know something as he said faintly, life here is too boring. We can't cultivate and we don't dare to leave. Getting some excitement from killing has become everyone's only hobby. Old Bai, do you know something? Sima Yue asked. I know you want to know. Have a good fight with me and I'll tell you. Bai Sheng looked at her, his eyes filled with fighting spirit. Alright, it's still the same condition. If you can't take me down in 10 minutes, you have to leave with me, Sima Yue said. Chapter 938. Boring. Bai Sheng shrunk back. At this moment, people came in one after another. Sima Yue didn't pay attention to these anymore, and listened to Shi Chun and Feng Kai's introduction of those people. Who was the previous king of the 10 floors? Who had a strong combat power? Who was the most heavy-handed? Who looked weak but always won? And so on. I didn't expect that after leaving for so long, there would still be so many familiar faces. Feng Kai exclaimed. It's different now, there are many new faces, many more king of the 10 floors. Shi Chun said. You guys haven't seen those king of the 10 floors. How do you know who they are? Little Seven leaned on the windowsill and looked at those people below. Their faces didn't have king of the 10 floors written on them. How did they recognize them? Feng Kai walked to Little Seven's side and said, Look at their hands, many of them are wearing bracelets. Champions of the 5 rounds and above can wear this to show their status in the blood arena. 5 rounds is 5 consecutive rings. King of the 10 floors is 10 consecutive rings. Look at the bracelets they wear, and you'll know if they're king of the 10 floors. I see. Little Seven shook her head and looked at those people's bracelets. Suddenly, she shouted as if she discovered a new continent. You, I saw someone wearing 15 bracelets. Feng Kai and Shi Chun were shocked by her discovery, and looked towards the direction she pointed. As expected, they saw a small guy wearing 15 bracelets. He really is 15 rings, Shi Chun said in shock. I didn't expect that there would be someone with 15 rings now. Feng Kai swallowed his saliva. He looks like a kid. And a gangster. Little Seven pouted. Gangster? Sima Yue came over and looked around before she saw that person. A kid who looked like he was in his teens, with dark skin and developed muscles. He looked rather impressive. His body looked young, but his eyes were experienced. When he looked at people, his gaze was filled with vigilance and fighting spirit. As he wasn't wearing a shirt, Little Seven judged him as a gangster. Such a kid is actually the king of the 15 floors? She was speechless. He's called Mulien Xian. He has the blood of a spiritual beast. I don't know why he came here. Bai Sheng laid on his original rocking chair and said leisurely. How long has he been here? Shi Chun asked. 5 years. When did you become the king of the 15th floor? 3 years ago. Bai Sheng said. After that, because he challenged a fighter from the blood arena, he lost. Sima Yue saw that these people were looking at Mulien Xian with eyes full of respect. It seemed like his position here was not bad. It seems like this Mulien Xian's bracelet is the highest. She looked around the wrestling ring and said, Could it be that after so long, there hasn't been a king of the 20 rounds? In the last 200 years, there has only been one. Feng Kai said. Oh. Sima Yue was curious. There really was a king of the 20 floor. Feng Kai and Shi Chun turned to look at Bai Sheng, him. Sima Yue and Little Seven opened their mouths wide in shock, saying in disbelief. Old Bai is the king of the 20 floors? Yes. No wonder the manager was so respectful when he saw you. I didn't expect him to be the king of the 20 floor. Sima Yue exclaimed. To be the only king of 20 floors in 200 years, how powerful would he be? Moreover, there was suppression in this arena, so he couldn't fully unleash his abilities. If this kind of person could be recruited into the sect, then... Don't look at me like that. I'll misunderstand that you're interested in me, Bai Sheng said. I don't want to leave this place. You don't want to or you don't dare to. Sima Yue looked at him. You're only here to hide from your enemies. If you can hide in another place, then do you still want to hide here for your entire life? Or should I say, don't you want to take revenge personally? Bai Sheng's lazy eyes suddenly shot out a terrifying gaze, looking at Sima Yue with murderous intent. His figure flashed, and he appeared at Yue's previous position. And Sima Yue appeared at another space in the room at the same time. By the time Bai Sheng appeared beside her, She had returned to her original position. Who are you? You know about my past? Baixing looked at Sima Yue. With that murderous intent, it seemed like he was serious. I don't know about your past, but I can understand your eyes. Sima Yue said. Although you always give people a lazy feeling, but if you look carefully, it's not hard to see the hatred and unwillingness in your eyes. You want to kill someone, but you can't. Maybe it's a clan, maybe it's a power, but no matter what, you can't solve it alone. I'm right? Feng Kai and Shi Chen were stunned. They knew Bai Sheng for many years, and from his expression, they knew that Yue was right. Humph, who here isn't being chased and has enemies? Bai Sheng snorted. So I didn't say anything wrong. Sima Yue said. But you're different from others. What's different? Others have the chance to leave, but you don't. Sima Yue said. Don't say it as if you know others very well. I didn't say that. Sima Yue said. Boss, why do you say he doesn't? Feng Kai was confused. They knew Bai Sheng for so many years. Could it be that they didn't know more than her in a day? He won't live for long. Sima Yue spat out a few words, making Bai Sheng and Shi Chen stunned. They looked at Bai Sheng and asked, Boss, is what you said true? Bai Sheng looked at Sima Yue's confident look and didn't say anything. He returned to his rocking chair and didn't say anything. What's going on? Shi Chen looked at Sima Yue, hoping that she could clear up their confusion. He's poisoned, Looking at him, he'll probably live for 100 or 200 years. Sima Yue said. I don't know why, but he can suppress the poison here. Once he leaves, he'll probably die immediately. But because he suppressed it for too long, your body can't take it anymore. Old Bai, is what boss said true? Bai Sheng closed his eyes, his voice was a little hoarse. Yes. She's right. How can it be? Boss, can you save him? Feng Kai asked anxiously. I haven't even checked his condition. How would I know if I can save him? Sima Yue shrugged her shoulders. She wasn't at the stage where she could see through someone's condition with just one look. Then you can check on him. Shi Chen looked at her with pleading eyes. You guys care a lot about him. Sima Yue said. When we first came here, we were almost killed by others. He saved us. Feng Kai said. Saved your life? Didn't you say that killing outside the blood field is not allowed here? Huh? There are always people who don't want their lives. Shi Chen said, Boss, old Bai he won't follow me even if I save him. Why should I save him? Sima Yue rejected him directly. Chapter 939. Boss. Feng Kai still wanted to persuade him, but Shi Chen pulled him out. Shi Chen shook his head at him. His eyes told him that boss had his own plans and that they did not need to worry about it. Sima Yue turned her gaze to the young man in the arena. She had a determined look on her face as she sized up the others. Feng Kai and Shi Chen sat beside Bai Sheng and asked, What's wrong with your body? That's what happened. What else could it be? Bai Sheng closed his eyes, not intending to elaborate. Don't you want to take revenge for all the suffering you've suffered in this lifetime? Don't you want to take revenge for your marriage? Shi Chen asked. Who told you about marriage? Bai Sheng looked at Shi Chen. Once when you were drunk you said, Marriage. How can I avenge you? Shi Chen said. I think she must be very important to you. That's why you can't forget her. The reason why I'm still alive is to find a way to let me die without regrets. Bai Sheng took a deep breath. But I realized other than revenge, I can't think of anything else. Then let's take revenge. Feng Kai said. Even if we can't kill them all, we can kill as many as we can. Bai Sheng shook his head and glanced at Sima Yue's back. Just like what she said, I can't leave this place. Because of the poison in your body? Bai Sheng nodded and continued. I don't know why, but when I'm here the poison will be suppressed. Once you leave this place, you won't be able to travel more than 100 miles. You'll feel uncomfortable and lose all of your spiritual power, not to mention finding someone to take revenge on. So strange? In Blood Fiend City, the poison doesn't exist. Bai Sheng continued. So I can't leave this place. But he wasn't willing to give up. He didn't want to die. He wanted to live and take revenge. Your health has deteriorated recently, hasn't it? Shurchen asked. It's not that it's getting worse, it's just that sometimes there will be intermittent fainting, sometimes there will be weakness all over. Bai Sheng's voice became softer and softer. He closed his eyes and fell asleep. Old Bai! Old Bai! The two of them shouted twice, but there was no response. Have you fainted? Feng Kai pushed his body, but there was no response. No wonder he wasn't willing to come here with us today. He should have known that he would fall asleep tonight. Shurchen said. It seems like he trusts you guys quite a lot. Sima Yue sighed as she walked over and looked at the person who had fallen asleep on the rocking chair. If it wasn't someone he was familiar with, he wouldn't have fainted so easily. Boss, can you show him? Feng Kai asked. Of course, of course. Sima Yue said, I want to keep him. But didn't you say that she wouldn't treat him? Little Seven ran over. Wasn't he awake just now? Sima Yue said, he's such an arrogant person, he definitely won't be happy if I stick to him. Why don't we grind it down a bit? Then why do you need treatment now? Isn't he unconscious now? Sima Yue patted Shurchen's shoulder. Shurchen immediately stood up and gave her his seat. Sima Yue sat properly and pulled his hand. I didn't expect this hand to look so good. You're teasing him. Little Seven said. I'm praising something beautiful. Sima Yue held his wrist and checked his body. How is it? Can he be saved? Little Seven asked. If he couldn't be saved, then don't waste your energy. It's a little complicated. Sima Yue said. We don't have enough time tonight, we'll check again later. After that, she took out her silver needles and pricked his chest twice. The unconscious person slowly woke up. He won't fall asleep for now. Remember to ask him to give me the consultation fee, it's very expensive. Sima Yue kept her needles and told Shurchen and the rest. How long have I been asleep? Bai Sheng asked. A few minutes. Suddenly, a burst of cheers came from below, indicating that tonight's blood arena was about to begin. It's starting? Sima Yue put her silver needles back and went to the window to watch with Little Seven. She was here to check out the place and had no plans to go down. There's a restriction on the arena. It will suppress the people's abilities when they go up. Sima Yue said as she looked at the situation on and off the arena. There's always a restriction here. Shurchen said. And I don't know what it is. It will cause one's spiritual power to decrease and increase one's body's strength. So on this stage, many people will directly use their bodies to attack. If they don't use their bodies to attack, how can they bleed so much? Sima Yue said faintly. What? Little Seven asked. Nothing. Let's continue watching. Sima Yue said. One of the people on the arena had his arm chopped off and the blood kept flowing. Fresh blood splattered on the arena and was absorbed by the arena, leaving behind a red mark. That person had his arm chopped off, but he didn't admit defeat. He took out a pill to stop the bleeding and swallowed it. His other hand waved a knife and slashed towards his opponent. Maybe it was because of the stimulation from losing his arm, or maybe it was because he went crazy after seeing blood. This person's eyes were scarlet red and he went crazy. His actions were much more ferocious than before. His battle power exploded in an instant. Little Seven was speechless. Battle power? Sima Yue frowned. Why did she still feel that something was wrong? Because he went crazy, his attack power increased by a lot. His opponent was slashed a few times by him and lost a lot of blood. Then his opponent went crazy too. In less than half an hour, the battle ended. Neither side won and both of them fell into a pool of blood. They breathed out more than they breathed in. The judge at the side of the blood arena knocked on the bell. A few people came up and pulled the two people away. Fresh blood flowed down their bodies, drawing two lines. Who wins in this situation? There's no winner. Feng Kai said. The blood arena will give each of them a pill to save their lives. Then what will happen to them in the future? After they recover, they will continue to fight in the arena. Continue? This is the life of the people here. There's no tomorrow, only seeking excitement for one night. They would rather spend time recuperating than to muddle through the days. Shurchen said. It's because we can't stand this kind of life that we left this place in the first place. Sima Yue somewhat understood their thoughts. In this place, even if they cultivated, their strength wouldn't increase. Hence, everyone wouldn't waste time cultivating. But if they didn't cultivate, they would have nothing to do. They didn't want to leave and could only muddle through the days here. This kind of feeling, to a spirit master, wasn't good. Because Feng Kai and the rest had more people, they had a chance to survive if they went out. However, the others didn't have their courage. Hence, they could only stay here and live, but there was no future. That Mulian Xian went up. Little Seven pointed at the person on the arena and shouted. Chapter 940. Sima Yue looked over and saw that Mulian Xian had indeed gone up. Hooligan, don't wear clothes. Little Seven said. It's just that he's half naked, just pretend you didn't see it. Sima Yue said. Since he went up, those who were ready to make a move went into hibernation. It seems like they don't want to fight him head-on. If I went up, I would definitely send him flying with one palm. Little Seven said. Unfortunately, Yu said that she didn't want to go tonight, so she could only watch. No one is coming up tonight again? Mulian Xian glanced at the people below. Looks like he used to often empty arenas. Shurchen said. Does an empty arena mean that no one is going to fight? Little Seven asked. Yes. Shurchen nodded. Then wouldn't he have no income? If it's empty, the blood arena will give him a top-grade crystal. Shurchen said. But one crystal for one night is simply not enough. It's better to fight in the arena. Who said there aren't any? A rough voice came from outside. Everyone looked over and saw a 2-meter-tall man squeezing through the crowd. The burly man was wearing a coarse cloth vest, revealing his strong muscles. His figure was probably equivalent to 2 Sima Yue. What a strong person. Seven looked at that figure and opened her mouth. She looked really cute. King of the 11th floor, for less than Mulian Xian. Sima Yue looked at the bracelet in front of her chest. Because his arm was too thick, he couldn't wear the bracelet, so he took a collar and wore it around his neck. It's Dama. Someone shouted. Big Ma is here. Haha, there's going to be a good show today. Yes. I didn't expect that Mulian Xian and Dama would meet today. Dama said that he wanted to fight with him a long time ago. Today he came for Mulian Xian. Also, after defeating Mulian Xian, his position in the blood arena will rise again. This Big Ma has been very arrogant recently. You've only been here for a short while, and you've already challenged several kings of the 10th floor consecutively. He's here to challenge the king of the 15th floor today. If he wins, does that mean he's going to challenge the king of the 20th floor? He dares to look for the king of the 20th floor? TSK, stop bragging. Who would dare to challenge the king of the 20th floor? That's an invincible legend. If he's not afraid of death, he can go and try. What king of the 20 floors? I've never seen him fight in all these years. If you ask me, he can only be the king of 20 rounds back then. If it were now, I don't even know if he could last 10 rounds. That's right. He's just a legend. Now that so many powerful people have come, if he has the ability, come up and fight with everyone again. We'll see if you can defeat the king of the 15th floor. Sima Yue turned around and looked at Bai Sheng. He still had his eyes closed and rocked his rocking chair gently, as if he didn't hear anything. They are challenging your dignity. Don't you want to beat them up? Little Seven said. What's there to care about? Bai Sheng replied without hesitation. These people are just looking for pain in their mouths. TSK. Little Seven ignored her, and turned around to continue looking at the arena below. You're Mulian Xian? Dama carried his broadsword and raised his chin, looking at Mulian Xian proudly. Mulian Xian crossed his arms in front of his chest and said, You're the Dama who's been in the limelight recently, the new king of the 11 floors? That's right, that's me. Dama touched his nose with his left hand and said, I heard that you don't come out often, so when you do, it must be an empty arena. Today I specially came to look for you, to see how powerful you are. Come on, fight with me, and let me defeat your empty legend. TSK, people without power all like to talk nonsense. Little Seven said from upstairs, not having a good impression of this big man. Who's farting there? Dama's hearing was good and heard Little Seven's disdain towards him. Do you need to care about your grandaunt's farting? Little Seven retorted. Who are you? How dare you look down on me, old ma? Dama shouted. You have the cheek to call yourself old ma? Little Seven said disdainfully. I think you're more like a bootlicker. Hey, that hooligan, you'll beat this bootlicker up later. If you can't beat him up, I'll come down and beat you up. Sima Yue felt that she should ask Fatty Chu to make a mask for Little Seven. If she didn't take it off, she wouldn't be able to speak. Mu Lian Xian glanced over indifferently. Someone actually called him a hooligan. Hee, it seemed like someone was tired of living. He thought that he would see a group of overbearing people, but he didn't expect to see a pair of deep and bright eyes. Sima Yue looked at him. Although this guy's eyes were very violent, they were surprisingly clean. What a strange person. She said to herself. Mu Lian Xian and Sima Yue looked at each other for a while, then retracted their gazes and said to Dama, let's begin. He wasn't a gentleman either. After he finished speaking, he raised his fist and attacked, not caring if Dama was ready or not. Their bodies collided, showing the difference between the two. Mu Lian Xian's body was slightly smaller, not much bigger than Sima Yue. This Dama's body was almost twice his size. Although he was small, his strength wasn't small. A punch landed on Dama's stomach, sending him flying a few meters away. Although Dama loved to talk big, he did indeed have the ability. Otherwise, he wouldn't have become the king of the 11th floor. His right leg retreated, and with a force from his body, he sent Mu Lian Xian flying back. Without giving him time to react, he waved the big knife in his hand and chopped towards him. Chopping and retreating, the two of them moved a few meters on the stage, but they didn't hurt Mu Lian Xian. Ha! Mu Lian Xian stepped on the big knife and used the force to jump up, landing on Dama's head. Dama immediately waved his knife and chased after him, chopping towards the top of his head. Mu Lian Xian stepped on the ground and flew into the air, avoiding the knife. Dama was fiercely kicked by him, causing him to feel dizzy. That knife almost chopped his head off. Mu Lian Xian took this opportunity to do a flip in the air and landed. His right hand clenched into a fist and directly hit Dama's head. Dama felt danger and immediately used his knife to block, but he couldn't block his powerful strength. Pooh! Dama spat out a mouthful of blood. Mu Lian Xian did a flip and landed a punch on his chest. Dama's sturdy body flew towards the edge of the stage like a piece of paper. Ha! The moment Dama fell off the stage, he used his leg to hook onto the edge of the stage. Using the knife in his hand to support himself, the knife bent and bounced him back onto the stage. He didn't completely leave the stage, so it wasn't considered a loss. He's about to go crazy. Sima Yue looked at his scarlet eyes and said, as expected. Dama wiped off the blood at the corner of his mouth and curled into a meaningful smile. Then he charged towards Mu Lian Xian. No matter if it was his speed or strength, he was much stronger than before. Both of their battle prowess exploded after seeing blood. This is really strange. Sima Yue looked at his eyes that had lost all rationality and said faintly. Chapter 941. Read 336. Mu Lian Xian was obviously used to seeing blood and going crazy. Seeing Dama's transformation, he wasn't surprised at all. Yue looked at the two people fighting below. The more blood there was on Dama's body, the more unfocused his eyes became and the crazier his actions became. Have you guys fought in the arena before? Sima Yue asked Feng Kai and Shichen. No. My body wasn't suitable in the past, so second brother wasn't interested in this. Shichen said, but sixth brother and the others have gone up before. What was the result? He won 5 rounds, but then he met the king of the 10 rounds and lost. Shichen said. Then did he tell you guys what's different about the arena? For example, someone like him? Sima Yue asked. He said that it was indeed like that. He was fine at first, but once he saw blood, he lost control of his body. Shichen said. He'll be fine once he gets off the stage. It seems like this arena is indeed a little strange. Sima Yue rubbed his chin and said, "Bang." While they were talking, Dama was beaten up by Mu Lianxin a few times. The muscles in front of his chest were cracked and blood flowed out. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, he fell heavily outside the ring. Hiss! He defeated Dama so quickly. The onlookers sighed. "Not bad, he's indeed capable," Sima Yue said. "This bootlicker, he looks so big, but he can't even take a beating. This hooligan is so small, I didn't expect him to be so strong," Seven commented. Mu Lianxian glanced at the people below the stage. Everyone shut their mouths and didn't speak. Just now, they had said that he couldn't beat Dama. They didn't expect that he would come to slap their faces so quickly. He looked around, and those people all shrunk their necks, not daring to challenge him. "You come down." Mu Lianxian turned his gaze towards little Seven who was upstairs. "Rogue, what are you trying to do? Are you going to fight with me?" Little Seven leaned on the windowsill and looked at him. She did not go down. "You dare to call me a hooligan, come down," Mu Lianxian said. You said that she won't fight with you guys tonight, so I can't go down," Little Seven said. "You dare to call me a hooligan, but don't dare to come down and fight with me?" Mu Lianxian sneered. "You're not wearing clothes. If you're not a hooligan, then what are you?" Little Seven said. "Also, why should I fight with you? What's the benefit? If I defeat you, will you be mine?" Ha 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 ha. When the people below heard Little Seven's words, they all laughed. This fellow really dared to say anything. Leaving aside the fact that she scolded Mu Lianxian, only she would dare to say that if she won, he would be hers. Humph. Mu Lianxian coldly snorted, and took out a whip to attack upstairs. Instant spiritual technique. Sima Yue shouted. The whip directly attacked Little Seven. Little Seven was furious and grabbed the whip. "Not only are you a hooligan, but you're also shameless. I didn't even go down and you actually attacked me." "Then come down. If you agree to my conditions, I'll go down. You're courting death." With a thought, Mu Lianxian split the whip into three. Other than the one that Little Seven was holding onto, the other two quickly tied her up. With a pull, Little Seven was pulled out of the private room. "Humph. Don't think that just because a tiger doesn't show its might, you'll treat me like a sick cat." Little Seven was provoked and her temper flared up. Borrowing the strength of the whip, she flew out. She really is a child. When I heard her voice, I thought she was an old witch pretending to be young. That's right. Now even little children dare to come to the blood arena? I wonder who brought her here. This isn't an ordinary child. Look. Little Seven flew into the air and with a shake of her hands, that whip was shattered by her, turning into spiritual energy and disappearing. The whip that Mu Lianxian transformed into was actually shattered by her. Oh my god! What kind of monster is this little brat? Little Seven turned around and glared. Those people didn't dare to speak anymore. Little Seven snorted at them, and then turned around with one hand on her waist, and the other pointing at Mu Lianxian. She scolded, "You stingy hooligan. So what if I scold you? You still want to fight with me? If this little grandaunt doesn't beat you up until you cry for your parents, then I'm not Little Seven." Sima Yue facepalmed upstairs. What happened to her ladylike demeanor? She had clearly been following her all this while. How did she get led astray by Little Roar? "I'm very angry. You actually dare to provoke me. Even if you admit defeat now, I want you to have a good taste of my fist." After speaking, Little Seven raised her fist and attacked. Mu Lianxian saw her action and painfully narrowed his eyes. Such a strong aura. "Then let's see if you have the ability," Mu Lianxian responded. The people below thought that they would see a thrilling battle, but, "Beat you up? Who asked you to pull me down?" "Beat me up again. So what if I say you're a hooligan? I already said that if I don't beat you up until you cry for your parents, then I'm not Little Seven. Didn't you say you wanted to kill me? Humph. Do you think this little grandaunt is so easy to kill? Hooligan. Hooligan." Little Seven rode on Mu Lianxian's body and punched him again and again, but he couldn't even retaliate. How was this a thrilling battle? This was simply a one-sided abuse. The people below the stage were in a mess. Where did this monster pop out from? In less than a breath's time, Mulian Xian was pressed to the ground and beaten up by her. Was she still human? Bai Sheng felt what was happening on the stage, and his usual indifferent temperament disappeared. He came to the window and stared dumbfoundedly at little Seven beating someone up. What the hell is this little brat? He swallowed his saliva. With this fighting power, even if he went up, he would be turned into dregs in seconds. Mulian Xian was beaten up until he was green and red. Blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth and nose. His eyes slowly turned scarlet red, and his body started to go berserk. You still want to go berserk? Go and rest. Little Seven punched him, and Mulian Xian's eyes flashed with unwillingness. Then he fainted. That pair of eyes that had yet to turn completely red closed just like that. The berserk aura on his body slowly dissipated. I already told you not to provoke this little grandaunt. You still don't believe me. I said that I will beat you up until your parents can't recognize you. I will definitely not go back on my words. Little Seven stood up from his body and casually flicked her skirt. Seeing the blood on the front of her skirt and thinking of her posture just now, she shouted, "Yu, is my period here?" The originally petrified crowd was in a mess because of her words. Sima Yoyue's face was filled with black lines. She held her forehead and pretended to be dead. She didn't want to say that she knew this brat. Last time when she accidentally got blood on her pants, little Seven asked her what it was. She casually replied that her period was here, and even explained what it was. She didn't expect her to remember it. You're the eye of the earth and not a real woman. Where did your period come from? Ha ha ha. Shi Chun and Feng Kai saw Sima Yue acting like this and couldn't help but laugh out loud. How did this brat think of this? Chapter 942. The people from Blood Arena were also confused by this matter. Especially from Little Seven's appearance to the chaos caused by the word period. The people from Blood Arena felt as if they had entered another world. Finally, someone reacted and came to the front of the arena to ask, "Do you want to defend the arena?" Not guarding. Little Seven didn't even look at him. She grabbed Mulian Xian, who was on the ground, and flew towards the second floor. Yu, what's wrong with you? Lil Seven asked when she saw Sima Yue lying on the windowsill listlessly. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven. She had delicate features and fair skin. She was supposed to be a little beauty. How did she become like this after evolving? Now she really agreed with Mo Sha's words. The Little Seven before she evolved was still better. Although she was cold and didn't like to talk to people, she was at least normal at that time. Although she also liked to beat people up, she wouldn't always talk about it. Furthermore, he wouldn't say such shocking words. Looking at her innocent eyes, she couldn't bring herself to reprimand her. Letting out a long sigh, he saw Mulian Xian in her hands and said, "Why did you bring him up? Didn't we agree that if he loses, he'll be mine? Of course we have to bring him up." Little Seven said, "This guy's battle power isn't bad, he's even stronger than Big Brother Shi Chun and the others. If we can take him in, he will be a great fighting force in the future. You didn't have to bring him here so quickly." Sima Yue said. "Why?" Little Seven looked at her in confusion. Forget it. Since you've brought them here, just put them aside." Sima Yue said. Bai Sheng looked at Little Seven with a burning gaze. Little Seven felt her gaze and said, "You want to fight with me too?" Bai Sheng shook his head. "I'm thinking, what kind of spirit beast did you transform from, to actually have such strong combat power?" I'm not telling you." Little Seven lifted her chin and ignored him and Mulian Xian, who was on the ground. She ran to Sima Yoyue's side, and lay down to watch the competition with her. With Little Seven stirring up trouble, no one was interested in the rest of the competition. No one went up. It seemed like they were shocked by her. "Looks like we won't be able to see any exciting matches tonight," Shi Chun said. "A lot of people will probably come tomorrow," Feng Kai said. Little Seven's news will spread out very soon. Those king of the 10 floors and whatnot will probably come, Shi Chun said. "Anyone else?" Sima Yue asked. "Of course. This Blood Fiend city was a big city and there were millions of people here. Moreover, most of them were spirit masters who had escaped, so there were naturally quite a number of experts. However, after fighting for a period of time, if they did not meet an opponent, they would choose to lay low for a period of time. I will only come out when I meet someone who is interested. Didn't they say that if they wanted to obtain top-grade crystals, they would have to fight in the arena? Sima Yue asked. Fighting in the arena is a part of the crystals they get, but not all of it. Moreover, after fighting for a period of time, people would choose to rest and find other things to do. For example, someone like Old Bai, who can open a tavern or inn. Oh, then the people who will come in the next few days shouldn't be bad. Sima Yue said. The people she met today, other than Mu Lian Xian who was suitable for her, the rest of them were not good. If there were better people, she would like to choose again. Then let's continue tomorrow. Although Bai Sheng had woken up, he still felt a little listless. I also feel that we can go back tonight. Little Seven's news will probably spread out tonight. Tomorrow we'll see those who came because of her reputation, Sima Yue said. When they left the private room, someone immediately came up to them. Master Bai, are you leaving? It was the same manager from before. When he spoke, he caught a glimpse of Little Seven. Tonight's people are too bad, Bai Sheng said. If Master Bai goes up, this competition will be very interesting, the manager said. This old bag of bones won't join in the fun with them. Bai Sheng took out a top-grade crystal and threw it to him, saying, Tomorrow night, reserve a private room for me. All right. The manager replied happily. Earning 2 top-grade crystals in one night, not bad. Bai Sheng and the rest left the blood arena. Sima Yue turned back, and didn't understand why she felt weird when she arrived at the blood arena. Bai Sheng looked at the moon in the sky, saying, It's the 15th again. Sima Yue looked at the protruding moon. The moon wasn't full yet. It's really the 15th. Damn it, how could we forget about this? Shi Chun and Feng Kai were frustrated. What's wrong with the 15th? Sima Yue asked. What day is it today? Bai Sheng asked. It's the 10th. What's wrong? Sima Yue looked at them and didn't understand. Every 15th, the moon will turn red and something will happen in the city, Shi Chun said. Something will happen? What will happen? On the 15th of every month, the blood arena will close and everyone will stay in their own homes. If they come out, they will definitely go missing, Shi Chun said, or they will leave a pile of bones without blood. So when it's almost the 15th, everyone will become irritable and won't go out during the 15th, and 16th. Anyway, the entire city will be weird during those 2 days. Feng Kai concluded. Every month? Yes. Shi Chun said. We didn't think of it before we came. We'll come after these 2 days. Sima Yue felt that it didn't matter when they came. A red moon. That's interesting. There's still 5 days. Seems like we can still see it. Yu, is there really a red moon? Little Seven pulled Sima Yue's hand and asked curiously. I haven't seen it before, but look at Shi Chun and the rest. It should be real, Sima Yue said. I haven't seen it before. When the time comes, we'll have to take a good look, Little Seven said excitedly. All right. The 4 of them, including Mu Lian Xian who was being dragged, slowly disappeared into the streets outside the blood arena. Little Seven's voice even floated over. Somewhere in Blood Fiend City, a man walked out from his house and looked at the huge tree in the courtyard, saying, Did you feel it? I felt it. It's so fragrant. The place where the voice came from was actually from inside the tree. The peerless treasure is here. Are you happy? The man asked. Happy. I want to eat it quickly. The leaves rustled. The man raised his head and looked at the sky. The moon was rounder than yesterday. Soon it's going to be a full moon soon. The red moon is coming again. When the time comes, we'll be able to get that treasure. Red moon, full moon. The leaves rustled even more. Sima Yue, who was walking on the road, suddenly turned back and frowned. There was nothing. Yu, what's wrong? Nothing, let's go. Chapter 943. The next morning, Mulian Xian woke up from his deep sleep. When he opened his eyes and saw the unfamiliar environment, he jumped up. Creak! The so-called bed he had just been lying on was in pieces. My stool! Baixing popped his head out from behind the counter and saw the broken pieces of wood. You broke my stool. Are you going to pay for it, or are they going to pay for it? Master Bai? Mulian Xian was surprised to see Baisheng. Now that he looked back at the place he was lying on, it was just two long wooden stools next to each other. It was not a bed at all. Because his jump was too big, the wooden stool couldn't withstand it and broke into pieces. Master Bai, why am I here? Mulian Xian took out 2 high-grade crystals and gave them to Baisheng as compensation for the 2 wooden stools. Of course he was dragged. Brought here, Baisheng said. Who? Mulian Xian remembered that he had been beaten unconscious. Other than your aunt, who else would want you? Little Seven's voice came from the second floor, and Mulian Xian's body froze. It's you. He turned around and looked at Little Seven, who was on the second floor. His fighting spirit rose again. What? Do you want to be beaten up by me? Little Seven waved her fist. Why did you bring me here? What are you doing? You're one of my people. Do you still need to tell me why I brought you back? Little Seven, if you say it like that, it's easy for people to misunderstand. Feng Kai's voice came from outside. Mulian Xian looked over and saw him leaning on the railing of the second floor. If you break my railing, you have to compensate me, Baisheng said without raising his head. Old Bai, I know why you only have me and you as guests. Little Seven propped her head on the railing and said, with the speed at which you extort people, no matter how rich they are, they wouldn't dare to stay here. If they leave, they'll definitely become a pauper. My price here is very fair, Baisheng said. If not, you wouldn't be staying here, right? We didn't come here because of this, Little Seven said. Anyway, if you follow us, you won't have to pay for the room. Hee, Baisheng smiled and didn't say anything else. Mulian Xian had been looking at Little Seven the whole time. Seeing that she had finished talking to Baisheng, she turned and walked out. Hey, hooligan, stop right there. Little Seven shouted at him. Seeing that he was ignoring her, she flashed and appeared in front of him. Stop right there. Little Seven opened her arms and blocked his path. What do you want to do? Mulian Xian's face darkened, and he was very unhappy. We have an agreement. If I defeat you, you will follow me. What? Are you trying to go back on your word now? Little Seven waved her fist. Do you need me to remind you? When Mulian Xian recalled what happened last night, his face was so black that water could drip out. Go away. Rogue, are you planning to go back on your word? The smile on Little Seven's face disappeared, and she was burning with rage. Someone is going to be miserable. Feng Kai reached out to cover his eyes. Then he heard the sound of banging and banging. Baisheng was overjoyed. These things were all money now. If Little Seven damaged it, wouldn't she have to compensate him? When Sima Yue came out of the house, Mulian Xian was beaten unconscious again. Little Seven, how can you talk to him when he's unconscious? She shook her head. Leave this fellow to me, Little Seven said. Can you? Don't worry, I'll settle him in 2 days. Little Seven said confidently. All right then, I'll leave him to you, Sima Yue said. You give me some pills. Anything that can wake him up or recover his energy. Give me some, Little Seven said. Sima Yue came down and took out a pile of pills for her. Take it easy, don't kill him. He won't. Little Seven took the pills and carried Mulian Xian upstairs. I haven't compensated for my table and chair, Baisheng shouted at Little Seven. Little Seven turned around and said, Do you want my fist? Is my fist worth money? Baisheng asked. If I beat you half to death and you ask you for pills, then it'll be worth money, Little Seven said. What a strong reason. Seeing that Baisheng didn't say anything, Little Seven carried Mulian Xian into the room. Not long later, there were sounds of banging and banging. Luckily this house was sturdier and didn't collapse. Sima Yue walked to the counter and placed one hand on the counter. Looking at Baisheng, she said, Do you want to make a deal with me? What deal? I'll give you a life and chance to take revenge. You give me your life. Half a day later, Feng Kai and Shurchen sat in the hall of the inn, waiting for the situation upstairs. Say, how's their discussion going? Feng Kai asked. Old Bai will follow us. Shurchen said confidently. Boss has this ability. I think so too. But there's no movement for so long. I wonder what's going on inside. They should be curing Old Bai's poison. Shurchen guessed. But if they don't come out soon, it'll be too late to go to the blood arena. Creak. The sound of the building manager opening the door was heard. Both of them looked over. They saw little Seven happily coming down from upstairs, followed by a bruised and swollen Mu Lian Xian. Although Mu Lian Xian looked at little Seven with dissatisfaction, he obediently followed behind her. Settled. Feng Kai raised his eyebrows. Of course with me, there's nothing I can't settle. Little Seven proudly lifted her chin. Mu Lian Xian, you're really willing to follow us? Shurchen asked. Only by following will I have a chance to win her. Mu Lian Xian said. This goal is not bad. Work hard. One day you'll win her. Feng Kai couldn't help but laugh. I'll win. Mu Lian Xian said confidently. I'll wait. Little Seven smiled. I said that as long as you can win me, I'll force you to stay. Then you'll regain your freedom. Mu Lian Xian's face darkened. His gaze towards little Seven was still filled with battle intent. Creak. The sound of the door opening came from upstairs again. Needless to say, it was Yue. After Sima Yue said that sentence, both of them went into the house to talk and only came out now. Shurchen and the rest turned their gaze over and waited for Sima Yue to announce the result. Sima Yue and Bai Sheng came down from upstairs and said, Let's go, we should go to the blood arena. Boss Old Bai, you guys finished talking? Feng Kai asked. Before we leave, I'll give him the antidote and he'll follow us. In the future, he'll be like you guys, one of us. Sima Yue didn't talk about their conversation in detail. Thinking about his situation, Sima Yue couldn't help but sigh. She lamented that the future wasn't going to be easy. But this Bai Sheng was indeed a powerful person. He was very powerful and she lacked people like him. Let's go. Not long later, the blood arena will open. Tonight, I think it'll be an eternal memory of the blood arena. Chapter 944. When Sima Yue and the rest arrived at the blood arena, they were immediately surrounded by the crowd. Are they the people from last night? Yes, someone said with certainty. Even if the others don't recognize her, that little girl is the one who beat Mu Lian Xian up until he couldn't retaliate. They really came. Hee, it's not just them. Many hidden experts have also come today. Tonight's match will be very interesting. I'm also looking forward to it. They've gone in. Let's go in too. Let's go in and watch the show. It was the same manager from yesterday, and it was the same private room from yesterday. There are indeed quite a lot of people here tonight. Shurchen looked at the many familiar faces and said, Many of them were the king of the 10th floor and the king of the 17th floor when we were still here. Looks like it won't be easy to recruit people tonight. Sima Yue was lying on the same windowsill as yesterday. She looked at the bracelets on the arms of the people below and evaluated their strength. There are indeed quite a number of experts. Sima Yue said. However, close combat doesn't necessarily depend on strength. Using four tails to deflect 1,000 caddies is the highest realm of close combat. Bai Sheng saw the confidence in Sima Yue's eyes and thought back to the long battle that day. Even though he had suppressed his abilities, he did not gain the upper hand. Moreover, she might not have used all of her strength. Moreover, when she fought with him that day, many of his powerful attacks were easily neutralized by her. How about we fight again sometime? Sure. Sima Yue also wanted to have a good fight with him. She could learn a lot from fighting with him. Yu, should I go tonight? Little Seven clenched her fists, looking eager to give it a try. No. Sima Yue looked at the people below. I'll do it tonight. All right. I'll do it tomorrow night. Little Seven knew that Yue was always right. She didn't want to throw a tantrum with her at this time. They waited for a while longer, and more experts came in. Those who came in all looked at them at the same time. It seems that these people are here for us. Feng Kai noticed this and said with a smile. To be exact, they're here for little 7. Shurchen said. But if they knew that the last person to go up was Sima Yue, what would their expressions be like? They will be very disappointed at first and then very shocked. Feng Kai had already guessed their expressions. Boss will definitely suppress everyone with his skills. At that time, these people. Before Shurchen could finish his words, the sound of gongs and drums could be heard from below, indicating that tonight's competition had officially begun. A man in a black robe took the lead and went up to the stage. He shouted towards Sima Yue's room. The little girl from yesterday, are you willing to come down and fight with me? Little 7 was lying on the windowsill. When she heard her name being called, she shook her head and said, I'm not going tonight. Tonight, my Yu will take the stage. Not going up. Then wouldn't it be a waste for him to come here tonight? Sima Yue leaped from the window and landed on the arena. She said, I'll take on everyone tonight. You? Her servant? That man looked at Sima Yue. How many rounds could a weak and gentle brat fight? Servant, your sister. This is my brother. Little 7 shouted. That man shrugged his shoulders indifferently and said, I want to fight with you. I don't want to fight with anyone else. But since she's already on the arena, I have to fight even if I don't want to. Little girl, if I win against her, will you come down and fight with me? You have to win against Yu first. Little 7 didn't take his words to heart. Please. That man didn't even think of saying his name. Sima Yue didn't mind his disdain and said, Before the competition, I have something to say. Don't worry, I won't beat you until you're crippled. If I beat you up too badly, what will happen to her? Sima Yue smiled and shook her head. She said, That's not what I want to say. Then what is it? Sima Yue looked at the surrounding people and said, I'm Siyu. I'm here this time to look for someone. Look for someone? Yes, to find someone who is willing to follow me. Sima Yue said, For those with 10 rings and above, if they win against me, I'll give them 1,000 top-grade crystals. If they lose, they have to follow me willingly. Ha ha ha. When the crowd heard what she said, they burst into laughter. This is the funniest joke I've heard in Bloodfiend City. Isn't that so? Is there something wrong with this person's brain? Don't tell me he's been beaten, silly. He hasn't been beaten yet. How did he become silly? Sima Yue didn't get angry when she saw their reaction. She smiled and continued. If you abide by my 2 conditions, you can come up. If you lose and refuse to follow me, then I'll send you straight to hell. Her words were so light, but people could feel a trace of blood. Why do we have to follow you? Someone asked. That's right. How is it possible for us to follow you for just 1 match? If you follow me, I'll naturally give you what you want. Sima Yue said. Ah, you 2 fellows. How can we lose to him? But I'm very tempted by his 1,000 top-grade crystals. Me too. If he dares to stand guard, I'll go up and get some top-grade crystals for Hua Hua. Sima Yue came to the side of the arena. With a wave of her hand, 1,000 top-grade crystals appeared beside her. She took a look at the people around her and said, The crystals are right here. If you want them, you can come up. But before you come up, you have to think carefully. It's not that easy to take my crystals. Ha ha ha, looks like my luck is better. The man on the arena laughed. Sima Yue looked at him and said, King of the 10th floor. Barely meets the conditions. Wait a minute. A man from Wairo interrupted Sima Yue's words. If he takes your 1,000, you won't play anymore? If this person won, then the 1,000 top-grade crystals would be taken away by him. What would the others play then? You don't have to worry about that. Sima Yue waved her hand, and another 1,000 top-grade crystals appeared beside her. There's a lot of crystals. If you like them, you can come up and take them. Let's begin. That person licked his lips and looked at the crystals with sparkling eyes. Let's make this clear first. If you lose, are you willing to follow me and follow me? We'll talk about it after you win. That person could not wait any longer and attacked Sima Yue. In a house behind the Blood Arena, A few managers were in the house. They looked at the old man sitting on the main seat and asked, "Third master, should we interfere?" That third master twirled two small metal balls in his hand and said faintly. The higher-ups said, "Don't interfere. Let them play however they want." Yes. Chapter 945. Read 336. The king of the 10th floor was no match for Sima Yue. After a few rounds, he was beaten to the ground. Sima Yue leaned over him and asked, "Can you tell me now? Are you willing to follow me?" "Impossible." The man refused without thinking. "There's no such rule in the blood arena. If you lose, you'll have to follow you. Are you sure?" Sima Yue asked. "Yes. Do you remember what I said just now? If you want to take my crystal, you have to follow my rules. If you lose, you have to follow me. If you don't, then..." She grabbed his head with both hands and twisted it to the side. With a crack, that person's neck was broken. Sima Yue stood up and with a kick, the corpse was kicked down. The entire blood arena quieted down instantly. They did not expect Sima Yue to kill her without hesitation. It seemed like she wasn't joking. "Who else wants to come up?" Sima Yue looked at the audience and asked. The people below the stage were waiting for the people from the blood arena to appear. Her actions conflicted with the interests of the blood field, and they would not tolerate her actions. However, after waiting for 2 minutes, the people from the blood arena did not appear. At this time, everyone understood that the blood arena had tacitly agreed, and did not intend to interfere in this matter. "I'll do it." A burly man jumped up. Sima Yue counted his bracelets. 10 King of the 10th floor. Huyang, nicknamed Big Beard, "I want to experience your strength." Huyang said. "Agree with my rules?" Sima Yue asked. "I agree, but I have a few questions." Huyang said. "Ask away. You're not from Blood Fiend City." "No. If we follow you, we have to leave Blood Fiend City." "Yes. We're all people with enemies. Can you guarantee our safety if we go out with you?" "That depends on your performance. As long as you listen to me, you won't have to worry about your life," Sima Yue said. "Only those who follow me will know the details. Is that okay?" "That's enough. Come on." Huyang took out an axe, held it tightly with both hands and swung it at Sima Yue. Although he was tall and big, his movements were quite agile. His attack on Sima Yue was fast, ruthless, and accurate. Sima Yue did not use any weapons and fought with him barehanded. Every time the axe was about to hit her, she would easily dodge it. Huyang seized the opportunity and hacked at Sima Yue's head. Just as she was about to be hacked into 2 halves, Sima Yue lowered her body and grabbed the blade with both hands. The axe stopped a few centimeters away from her head. Huyang exerted all his strength to push down, but Sima Yue clamped it with both of her hands, making it impossible for him to push it down. Ha! She moved the axe to the side, and then with the help of her hands, she soared into the air and kicked Huyang's head. Huyang could feel the strong wind from Sima Yue's leg. He had no choice but to step back and retract his axe. What a beautiful counterattack! The audience cheered. Sima Yue seized the opportunity to attack. She dodged his axe and came to his side. She grabbed his arm with her left hand and tapped on his wrist with her right hand. Huyang's hand went numb, and the axe fell to the ground. Sima Yue took advantage of the situation and pulled his hand behind his back, placing it behind his back. Huyang wanted to use his right hand to counterattack, but before he could move, he was caught by Sima Yue. Huyang struggled with both of his hands, but realized that he could not pull them out. Sima Yue looked petite, but she was shockingly strong. Sima Yue kicked Huyang's knee and he knelt down. No matter how hard he struggled, he could not break free from her grip. He dropped his weapon and could not move his body. The result of this competition was obvious. "You lost." Sima Yue freed one of her hands and grabbed his head. If she used more strength, he would definitely die. Huyang felt the strength on his head. Although he was unwilling, he had to admit it. "You won. I will follow you from now on." "Awesome." Sima Yue let go of him and stood up to pick up the axe. She passed it to him and smiled. "Go down and wait." Hu Yang looked at the crystals at the side of the arena and secretly regretted. If only he was not greedy for these crystals. But there was no medicine for regret in this world. He could only accept the result. Sima Yue looked at the people below and asked, "Is there anyone else coming up?" 2 hours later, there were 3 corpses on the side of the arena. They were all people who lost but refused to follow Sima Yue. There were a few people standing beside Hu Yang. The manager of the blood arena stood behind and looked at Sima Yue. Third Master, she did not follow the rules. Other than the 3 people she killed, the others did not bleed. No worries. Third Master said calmly. There was no blood now, but there would be more later. Let me. Another person jumped onto the arena. King of the 17 arenas. Sima Yue saw the bracelet on his arm. I, Wang Mao, would like to experience it. After Wang Mao finished speaking, he used his hand as a knife and quickly attacked Sima Yue. Moving like the wind. This phrase was very apt to describe Wang Mao. His movements seemed to be faster than the wind. After he attacked, everyone could only see a shadow. But even so, Sima Yue was able to accurately avoid his attacks. After a few minutes, she figured out the pattern of his attacks. Every time he attacked, she would be able to gain the upper hand by striking first, completely restraining him. Boss's movements are very light, and she knows how to use her strength. Every time she doesn't use a lot of strength, but she is always able to restrain these people. Feng Kai said. Maybe, this is what she meant by using 4 ounces to achieve 1,000 caddies. Baisheng looked at Sima Yue's many battles, and felt that if he went down to fight with her, he might not win. Mu Lian Xian looked at Sima Yue. His eyes filled with a strong desire to fight. I already said that Yu is very powerful. Little Seven smiled and said. Seeing Mu Lian Xian's eyes lit up, she said, You can't beat Yu, don't think about it. Why don't you think about how to increase your strength and defeat me quickly? I will. Mu Lian Xian said coldly. He would work hard to defeat her, and work hard to leave them earlier. Wang Mao is going to lose. Shi Chun said as he saw Wang Mao being pressured by Sima Yue. Looks like Yue is going to. What is he going to do? Feng Kai shouted. Wang Mao took out a dagger and made a cut on his arm. Blood flowed out and flowed down his arm. Sima Yue squinted her eyes and knew what he was thinking. In this arena, as long as someone saw blood, they would become crazier and their battle power would soar. Wang Mao was at a disadvantage now. If he saw blood, he would quickly enter a crazy state. As expected, when the blood dripped onto the arena, he became crazy. His eyes turned red and looked at Sima Yue as if he wanted to tear her apart. I never thought that Wang Mao would be forced to this stage by her. Baisheng shook his head and sighed. But even so, he is still not Yue's opponent. Chapter 946. After going berserk, Wang Mao's movements were faster, his strength was greater, and his attacks were more ferocious. Yue, who had fought many battles in a row, found it difficult to deal with him. However, that was only strenuous. 10 minutes later, Sima Yue seized the opportunity and punched Wang Mao in the chest, knocking him to the ground. Then she dislocated his legs at lightning speed, making him unable to stand up. Then she dislocated his hands during the fight. At this point, the outcome was clear. Sima Yue used the metal element to form a long sword and pressed it against his throat. If it went in just a little bit, he would definitely die on the spot. You lost. Wang Mao stared straight at her, and was silent for a minute. In the end, he had to admit that he had lost. I will keep my promise, he said. Sima Yue dispersed her spiritual power, and squatted beside him. She grabbed his arms and legs and reattached them. Then she took out a pill and fed it to him. Come up and help him down. Sima Yue said to the poplars below. See you, why don't you just throw him down? De Qi said as he whistled. That's how we treat our enemies. He's one of us now, Sima Yue said. Hu Yang was stunned for a moment. Then he jumped up and helped Wang Mao down. Sima Yue took out a pill and swallowed it. Including this round, she had already fought 12 rounds. She had killed 3 people and taken in 9 people. Moreover, They were all king of the 10 rounds and above. Is there anyone else coming up? She looked at the people below. Even the king of the 17 floors was defeated. Who else would dare to say that they could defeat her? After a few minutes, no one came up. Sima Yue thought for a while and took out a pile of top-grade crystals. Increased the chips to 3,000. If you want it, you can come and try. Still, no one came forward. It seems that no one is willing to go up. Bai Sheng said. But that's true. She has such strong fighting power. Every time she wins, it's an expert, so the others naturally wouldn't dare to go up. Then you won't be able to recruit anyone. Little Seven said. Boss, since you're tired, let me handle the remaining 8 matches. Bai Sheng said to Sima Yue. Sima Yue looked at Bai Sheng and nodded. Okay. She flew to the second floor, and at the same time Bai Sheng came to the arena. Bai Sheng did not wear a bracelet, so some newcomers did not know how powerful he was. But to those people in the past, when they saw Bai Sheng, they fell silent. Old Bai, are you following her as well? Old Bai is untalented. I'm willing to accept my loss. Bai Sheng said. I'll take on the remaining 8 battles. I think I can handle these crystals too. You can decide on the rules. Sima Yue gave her the authority unconditionally. Bai Sheng cupped his hands towards Sima Yue and said to the others, Is anyone willing to fight with me? As soon as he finished speaking, a feminine-looking man jumped up. It was the one who had asked the question earlier. Situcheng, I've always wanted to spar with Master Bai. Situcheng said. Situcheng, the king of the 14th floor from many years ago. I remember you. Bai Sheng said. Are you willing to follow our rules? Although I don't like this kind of competition that determines the future, but if this is the only way to fight with you, then I can only accept it. Situcheng finished speaking and attacked Bai Sheng. Sima Yue had fought for so long just now, and now that she was resting, she was really tired. I'll leave the rest to Bai Sheng. I'll go in to rest, she said to the 3 of them. Go ahead, you will guard here for you. Little Seven waved at her and said. Sima Yue went into the house and started to rest. When she opened her eyes again, the competition was nearing its end. You killed 1 and recruited 6. There's only 1 left. Little Seven saw her coming over and reported the results to her. Sima Yue took a look at those people. Situcheng was indeed already inside. Old Bai's ability is indeed not bad. Sima Yue saw that he didn't look tired after fighting so many rounds and praised. Boss, how's the poison in Old Bai's body now? Feng Kai asked. I checked on him in the morning. It's a little tricky, but it's not incurable. Sima Yue said. But it has to be settled before we leave Blood Fiend City. His current condition doesn't allow him to leave this place. Thank you, boss. What's there to thank? He's one of us now. If we want him to work hard, we naturally have to give him a good body. Sima Yue said. It's almost over. Little Seven said. Sima Yue and the rest looked down, just in time to see the opponent admitting defeat. From then on, the 20 rounds of competition tonight had completely ended. At this moment, the people from Blood Arena came out and announced the end of the competition tonight. Tomorrow Little Seven will take action. Those who want to watch, those who want to challenge, don't miss it. By the way, tomorrow's weight will also be increased. Bai Sheng finished speaking, turned around and left the arena, bringing a group of people with him as he left. When they came, there were 5 of them, and when they left, there were only 21 of them. It was already early in the morning and the air was still slightly chilly. The sky in the east had already turned white, and a ray of sunlight pierced through the clouds, illuminating the road ahead. Back at Bai Sheng's inn, Sima Yue started to understand them one by one. Since you're my people now, then you naturally have to listen to me in the future. As one of us, I won't treat you badly, Sima Yue said. I want to know, what's your motive for recruiting us? Very simple, I've set up a force and I need manpower. And you guys happen to be the best candidates for me. Sima Yue said. Why, we all have a grudge against each other. Did you think of this before looking for us? Situcheng asked. Of course I did. Sima Yue said. To tell you the truth, my motive for setting up a force is for revenge. So I need a group of outlaws. And they happen to be this kind of people. When everyone heard what she said, their faces changed. Don't worry, I'm doing this for revenge and not to send you guys to your deaths. So I won't let you guys go and kill people now. Sima Yue said, I'll give you guys pills, spiritual weapons, spiritual beasts, and other things that you need to strengthen yourselves. When we have enough confidence, then we'll take action. Also, I'll give you guys the honest and honorable life that you want. Those enemies of yours, one person might think that they're very strong, but if everyone is united, then they're nothing to be afraid of. You guys can think about this problem carefully. Everyone was silent. Now that you guys are already on this boat, it's impossible to get off. But you guys can slowly digest this matter and weigh the pros and cons. Shurchen, I still have things to settle, so you guys can tell them the rest of the situation. Yes, boss. I hope that when I come out, you guys have already thought it through. After saying that, Sima Yue turned around and went upstairs to nurse Shui Qingman's body. Chapter 947. When Sima Yue came out, everyone understood what Sima Yue meant. Most of them wanted to try it with her. There were also 2 people who didn't understand, but they still wanted to follow them. For example, Mu Lianxian's goal was to defeat Little Seven. Yu, someone is looking for you. Little Seven heard the door open and shouted from downstairs. Someone was looking for him? Who would look for her here? She went downstairs and saw 2 unfamiliar people standing in the lobby. This must be young Master Siyu? One of the men cupped his hands towards Sima Yue and said, I am the steward of the city lord's residence. My city lord would like to invite you and this young lady over as guests. The city lord invited us? Sima Yue was surprised. Yes. That steward said. City lord heard that there are 2 experts from Bloodfiend City, and would like to invite you to the city lord's residence as guests. Just us? Yes. The steward replied. The city lord said that he's just going to sit for a while. It won't affect your business tonight. It seemed like the city lord understood everything clearly. This was someone else's territory, so he had to go. That's good. Sima Yue smiled and said, Little Seven, follow me to the city lord's residence. Shurchen, if we don't return by the time, you guys can go directly to the blood arena. As for these people, do as I instructed. We understand, boss. Shurchen nodded. Young Master, see you please. Sir Butler, please. There were 2 beast carriages parked at the entrance. When they saw Sima Yue, one of them gave her 2 noses to wake her up. Young Master, see you, please board the carriage. The moment the butler finished speaking, the coachman beside him immediately opened the carriage door. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and boarded the carriage in front while the butler boarded the carriage at the back. There was no need for the coachman to drive the carriage as the carriage started to run towards the castellan's residence. Yu, do you think the city lord of Bloodfiend City looks very scary? Little Seven asked. Why do you ask? If I don't look like a burly man, how would I be able to subdue these outlaws in Bloodfiend City? You'll know when you see it. The 2 of them chatted and laughed in the car, and soon, they arrived at the city lord's mansion in the city center. The castellan's mansion looked majestic and domineering, but Sima Yue did not sense anyone's aura here. Young Master Siyu, young lady Little Seven, please follow me. The housekeeper came down from behind and waved his hand. The 2 beast carriages then drove off. Sima Yue and Little Seven followed the housekeeper into the city lord mansion. However, they did not bring her to the main hall in the front yard. Instead, they walked a long distance and went to a remote courtyard at the back. When they entered, they saw a man in white sitting under a towering tree, holding a cup of tea in his hand. City Lord, young Master Siyu and young Lady Little Seven are here. The housekeeper stepped forward and reported, Welcome to the 2 distinguished guests. I am Bloodfiend City's City Lord Li Hong. Please take a seat. The man looked at them, his eyes lifeless. Sima Yue did not expect that the Bloodfiend City's City Lord, who was dressed in white and did not have the aura of the mortal world, was actually blind. Sima Yue pulled Little Seven to sit in front of Li Hong and said, I didn't expect that we would actually alarm City Lord Li and be received by City Lord Li. Young Master Siyu is too courteous. I don't have much to receive you, only a cup of tea. I hope you don't mind. Although Li Hong could not see, but his actions of pouring the tea were very nimble, and the water level was just right. He poured a cup to the brim and pushed it in front of Sima Yue, then poured another cup for little Seven. Sima Yue lifted the teacup and brought it to her nose to take a whiff, praising, "What a fragrant tea, I've never drunk this kind of tea before." These tea leaves were dried from the blood demon tree's tender shoots. The taste is very unique, you can try it. Li Hong said. Sima Yue took a sip lightly. This tea was indeed very fragrant. However, she frowned slightly. Little Seven took a whiff, and did not drink it. How is it? Li Hong looked at them expectantly, even though he could not see. Sima Yue put down the teacup and smiled faintly. It's not bad. Then why isn't Miss Little Seven drinking it? Little Seven has never liked tea. Sima Yue mentioned Little Seven. She only likes to eat snacks. Sweets are delicious. Little Seven said. City Lord Li, please don't laugh at us. Sima Yue said with a smile. Why would I? It's normal for children to like sweets and not tea. Li Hong smiled and said. His smile was very faint, making people feel very comfortable. These tea leaves were all plucked from the blood demon tree? Sima Yue raised her head to look at the huge tree. It had huge tree roots, but there were very few branches and leaves. Yes. Every spring, there will be many tender shoots. After the spring rain, the taste is the freshest. Li Hong said. The tea is good, but the name is a little scary. Sima Yue said, not touching the teacup again. The Blood Demon Tree and Blood Fiend City were around the same time. No one knows what this tree was called in the past, so we named it after the city. Li Hong seemed to not have noticed that she did not drink tea. My city lord's residence doesn't have anything good. Since young Master Siyu likes it, please take a bag of tea leaves with you when you leave later. Take it as a token of my appreciation. Sima Yue saw his smile, as if there was a power that she could not bear to reject. She nodded and said, in that case, Siyu will thank City Lord Li. It's good that young Master Siyu likes it. Li Hong smiled faintly. City Lord Li, you didn't call me here today just to taste the tea, right? Sima Yue asked. Hee, would you believe me if I said so? Li Hong asked. No. Sima Yue said frankly. Hee, young Master Siyu is really straightforward. Li Hong laughed. Actually, I didn't call young Master Siyu here for anything. I just heard about what happened at the Blood Arena last night and the night before, so I wanted to see what kind of people have such battle power. I also wanted to ask, what is your motive for doing this? Sima Yue remained silent and he continued. Actually, I don't mean to blame you. But for the safety of the people in the city, I still wanted to ask. We just want to find some people here to go back. Sima Yue said. Those who lost the bet, follow me. Those who don't want to participate, Siyu won't say anything. Only those who participated in it but wanted to deny it would be punished. As for whether they participate or not, they have the freedom to do so. Just this. Just this. In that case, it indeed won't affect the safety of Blood Fiend City. Li Hong said. Then if there's nothing else, let's continue to taste the tea. After more than an hour, the butler sent Sima Yue and the rest off. Before they left, Li Hong passed her a bag of tea leaves and said with a smile. Chatting with young Master Siyu is really a joyful experience. This is the last new bag of tea this year. I think the Blood Demon Tree will be very happy to give it to young Master Siyu. Chapter 948. Sima Yue looked at the smile on his lips and raised her eyes to look at the Blood Demon Tree. A gust of wind blew and the leaves of the Blood Demon Tree rustled. She received the tea leaves with both hands and said with a smile, Thank you for your hospitality, City Lord Li. I know you're going to the Blood Arena, so I won't keep you any longer. Li Hong said, I hope I can treat you to tea again next time. Goodbye, Siyu. Sima Yue cupped her hands towards Li Hong and left with the butler. Li Hong watched her leave. Her elegant temperament was no longer there. Her body exuded a bloodthirsty aura. and her eyes were bright. She did not look like a blind person at all. He cracked his neck and said, "Every time I'm trapped inside, I feel so aggrieved. Stop struggling. Your strength is no match for mine. It's better for you to obediently stay inside." "Little tree, how is it? Are you sure?" The blood demon tree rustled. "Hee, that's good." On the other side, Sima Yue walked out of the city lord residence. She didn't let the coachman follow her. Instead, she walked towards the blood arena with Little Seven. Yu, why didn't you let them send us off?" Little Seven asked. "The blood arena competition is about to start." Sima Yue called Yaguang out and sat on top of him, asking him to bring them to the blood arena. "That city lord mansion is too strange. It's better for us to go to the blood arena ourselves." "You also thinks it's strange?" Little Seven said. "I don't know what's strange, but after going in I did feel strange. That tea is the same. I don't want to drink it just by smelling it." "That blood demon tree is very bloody," Sima Yue said. "Very bloody? You didn't drink the tea, but you know it tastes strange. The tea smelled really good at first, but once I drank it, there was a bloody taste." Sima Yue said. "The bloody taste was very faint, but I could still taste it. Those are the tea leaves of the blood demon tree. In that case, the blood demon tree is bloody," Little Seven guessed. "Moreover, that city lord is very strange," Sima Yue said. "Did you realize that he kept mentioning the blood demon tree either intentionally or unintentionally?" Little Seven thought about it and said, "I think so. He wants us to notice that tree," Sima Yue said. "If there's something wrong with this tree, he wouldn't want us to know about it, let alone notice it. It's too strange for him to do that." "Indeed," Little Seven said. "The moment I saw that blood demon tree, I felt uncomfortable. It was strange." "Then Yi, have you thought of anything?" Sima Yue shook her head. "Let's discuss it with them when we get back." When they arrived at the blood arena, tonight's match had already begun. The steward led them to a private room. When Sima Yue went upstairs, she saw Bai Sheng talking to the manager of the blood arena. There was no one competing on the arena. "Hasn't the competition started tonight?" she asked the steward who was leading the way. "It has already started, but because you all didn't come, everyone is waiting," the manager said. "Waiting for us?" Sima Yue was surprised. "We're here. Young Master Sima Yue, you can ask them." After that person led Sima Yue up, he didn't say anything and left. Sima Yue went in and saw Shichen and Feng Kai sitting at the table. Mu Lian Xian was here too, but the atmosphere in the room was a little gloomy. "What's wrong? Why are you all so listless?" Sima Yue asked. "Boss, you're finally here." Feng Kai was suddenly energized. "What's wrong?" "Those people said that since Little Seven didn't come tonight, they wouldn't come up," Shichen said. "Yay, they miss me so much?" Little Seven giggled. "Then I'll treat them well." After she finished speaking, she leaped and flew onto the arena. "Which one of you missed me?" "I, Little Seven, am here, come on. The rules are the same as last night." "That's right." Little Seven wanted to take out the top-grade crystals, but she remembered that she didn't have any, so she turned her gaze towards Sima Yue on the second floor. Sima Yue waved her hand, and a pile of crystals appeared on the arena. "Come, defeat me and these are yours." Little Seven waved her hand generously. "I'll do it." A man wearing a red singlet jumped up. King of the 11th floor, this strength was no challenge to Little Seven. In less than a minute, that person was already sprawled on the ground. "It's not enough." Little Seven shook her head and said to the people below, "You can all come up together. As long as you win against me, you can each get this many top-grade crystals." Boom! The people below were in an uproar. One person couldn't beat them, but how could a group of people not win? "Do you mean what you say?" someone asked. "Of course. Do you have that many crystals?" If everyone won, what would they do if they didn't have that many crystals? Little Seven looked at Sima Yue. Sima Yue took out a crystal card and threw it down. "You all know about this crystal card, right? Every crystal card has a minimum amount." Little Seven threw the crystal card onto the pile of crystals from before. "Come, You can have as many people as you want. But the prerequisite is that you all have to abide by our agreement. Otherwise, don't blame me for settling the score. The people below the arena looked at each other, and then swarmed up like a swarm of bees. In an instant, there were 10 to 20 more people on the arena. Many of those who came here weren't gentlemen. They could come up together and definitely wouldn't come alone. Little Seven clenched her fists excitedly. Only with so many people could she stimulate the fighting spirit in her body. Her figure quickly shuttled through the crowd. Wherever she went, those people were either sent flying or collapsed on the ground. After a round, those people couldn't touch her at all. Not only were the people below stunned by her, even Shurchun, Feng Kai and Mu Lianxin who were upstairs were dumbfounded. This battle prowess was too fearsome. Boss, what is Little Seven's strength? Feng Kai finally found his voice. I don't know either. Sima Yue said. But I haven't seen her lose before. Once when she fought with an old monster, the other party didn't gain any advantage. So powerful. Everyone looked at Little Seven's small body and felt as though they were looking at a monster. Mu Lianxin was even more shocked. His motive for following Little Seven was to defeat her. But such a valiant person like her, when would he be able to defeat her? Third Master, this young lady is so powerful. Will she do anything to us? Do we have to do anything? No need to worry. Third Master said calmly. Master said that as long as they don't leave Bloodfiend City, we don't have to care about anything. Yes, that night, Little Seven defeated 1 to 200 people. All of them were insta-killed. Finally, they brought their people back to Bai Shengzin in a grandiose manner. This time, Sima Yue didn't lecture them personally, but handed it over to Shurchun and Feng Kai. Then she pulled Bai Sheng into the room. Chapter 949. Read 336. Sima Yue performed acupuncture on Old Bai before asking, Old Bai, have you ever thought about why your poison is suppressed in Bloodfiend City? Bai Sheng put on his clothes and said, I have thought about it, but the reason has never been found. Have you checked it out? Sima Yue asked. Yes. I have been to every corner of Bloodfiend City for the past 100 years just to find out the reason. Especially after I felt something strange in my body recently, I wanted to see if there were any changes. But after going out to check many times, I came back with no results. Bai Sheng said. Why, what did you find out? When I went to the city lord's mansion today, it was indeed a little strange. Sima Yue said. To be exact, ever since I entered Bloodfiend City, I've always had a doubt in my mind. Oh, what strange things have you discovered? When we enter the city, we can only use high-grade crystal stones. No one can cultivate in the city, only high-grade crystal stones. Isn't this a very strange thing? Sima Yue said. That blood arena is strange too. It seems to be a place for entertainment, but no one knows what it does behind the scenes. That arena was even more demonic. After seeing blood, that person would definitely go crazy. Everything doesn't make sense. Bai Sheng did not expect that Sima Yue would discover so many problems in just 2 to 3 days after coming to the city. Sima Yue took out the packet of tea leaves that Li Hong gave her and passed it to Bai Sheng. Look at this. Bai Sheng opened the packaging and saw the tea leaves inside. He took out a little and smelled it. These are the leaves of the blood demon tree? You know about the blood demon tree too? Sima Yue asked. Then have you drunk the tea brewed from these tea leaves? Bai Sheng shook his head and said, There's only a little of this tea every year, and it's always been the city lord who drinks it. I've never seen him give it to anyone else. I didn't expect him to give it to you. What's wrong with the tea leaves? You'll know once you try. Sima Yue used the tea leaves to brew a cup of tea and passed it to Bai Sheng. After Bai Sheng drank it, he carefully savored it and said, There's nothing special about it. Can't you tell that there's a bit of blood in it? Sima Yue said. Bai Sheng drank another mouthful and sensed it more carefully. After a while he said, That's right, there is indeed a faint smell of blood. This is the tea from the blood demon tree. Why would it have the smell of blood? What do you think? Unless you keep winning blood irrigation, otherwise there won't be. Bai Sheng said. No matter what, I don't think a tree with the smell of blood is anything good, Sima Yue said. Then why would the city lord give this to you? Doesn't he know? Bai Sheng was puzzled. No, I think he knows. Furthermore, it seems like he has been hinting to me, asking me to pay attention to that tree. Sima Yue continued. But I don't get it. It's just a tree. Why would he keep hinting me? Old Bai, do you know anything about that tree? Blood demon tree? Bai Sheng thought for a while and said, speaking of which, no one has paid attention to this tree. If you didn't mention it, I wouldn't have thought of this tree. But thinking about it, this tree has always been here. No one knows when it was planted. It was a long time ago, but everyone would subconsciously ignore it. Maybe it's because it's in the city lord's residence, so everyone has less contact with it. Why is it a tree? Sima Yue tapped her fingers, not understanding. Old Bai, also about the crimson moon, do you know why? I think the crimson moon has something to do with suppressing the poison in my body. Bai Sheng said. What do you mean? Every time the crimson moon appears, the poison in my body will be very agitated, as if it had met with something terrifying. Bai Sheng said. I would faint every once in a while, but if the time I fainted coincides with the crimson moon, then I wouldn't have fainted that day. Crimson moon. Poison. Sima Yue wanted to connect the dots, but she couldn't think of anything. What a headache. Old Bai, tell me what you've investigated. Sima Yue said. Okay. Wait, little seven, go and see if Shurchun and the rest are done. If they're done, call them in for a discussion. Sima Yue said. Okay. Little seven jumped down from the chair, opened the door and ran out, quickly bringing Shurchun and Feng Kai in. Boss, what's wrong? Feng Kai asked. There's something I need to tell you guys. Sima Yue voiced out her suspicions, then said. Old Bai is about to talk about the information he's investigated these few years. Old Bai, let's start. Bai Sheng nodded, and said, I've investigated the blood arena. I want to know why the people on the arena would go crazy when they see blood. I once snuck into the blood arena for an entire day, just to see if there's anything fishy about it, but in the end, I found out something else. Bai Sheng's face turned ugly, he didn't like what he found out. What is it? Little Seven asked. That arena is alive. Bai Sheng said. Alive? What do you mean? You all noticed, no matter how much blood was spilled on the arena the night before, it's still clean the next day. Bai Sheng said. That's true. I always thought that the people from the blood arena cleaned it up the next day. But when I snuck into the blood arena, there wasn't a single person there. And guess what I saw? Bai Sheng was quite good at keeping people in suspense. I can't guess. Everyone shook their heads. That blood arena seemed transparent, but in reality, it was very mysterious. No one could guess what he saw inside. I saw that the arena was absorbing the blood and flesh. Bai Sheng said. That arena not only had the blood and flesh from the night before, it was the entire arena, filled with blood and flesh. All blood and flesh? Everyone was shocked. That's right. And it was all human blood and flesh. Bai Sheng said. That arena was like a mouth that opened up, swallowing all the blood and flesh until nothing was left. When everything returned to normal, the arena had already returned to its usual clean state. The arena ate blood and flesh? That's too horrifying. Feng Kai opened his mouth wide and said in shock. And it wasn't just once. Bai Sheng said. Not long after, I went again, and it was the same. The entire arena was filled with blood and flesh. The blood arena has a requirement. The people who go up to the arena must see blood. Sima Yue touched her chin. Don't tell me that the arena was actually transformed by a spirit beast. Transformed by a spirit beast? Everyone was shocked by her guess. It was too impossible. But Sima Yue felt that she seemed to have guessed something. That arena in the blood arena, maybe it wasn't as simple as a spirit beast transforming. Maybe there was an even more horrifying inside. Chapter 950. Read 336. Feng Kai and the others all felt that her guess was too outrageous. However, he couldn't think of any other reason. Then why did the people on the stage go berserk? Little Seven asked. I think that the arena will release some kind of gas. When the gas is mixed with blood, it will make people go crazy. Sima Yue said. I think so too. Bai Sheng said. Actually, everyone understands, but many people like it this way. They feel that it's exciting, so no one cares. Sima Yue nodded. It was easy to guess. Those people were not fools. Naturally, they would have guessed it. But there will also be situations like that day where both sides suffer losses. If they still had a bit of rationality back then, they probably wouldn't have ended up in that state. Little Seven said. That's true. Boss, why do you think the city lord gave you this bag of tea leaves? Feng Kai asked. I think he's hinting at something, but I don't know much about this place, so I can't figure out what he's hinting at. Sima Yue shook her head. Blood demon tree, the smell of blood, flesh and blood, the crimson moon. Could it be? Shurchen was so frightened by his own thoughts that he couldn't even speak. What did big brother Shurchen think of? Little Seven looked at him curiously. Shurchen took a deep breath and voiced his guess. Could it be that all this was caused by the blood demon tree? Blood demon tree? That's right, the blood demon tree had absorbed the flesh and blood, which is why its tender shoots would have the smell of blood. And the one that absorbed the flesh and blood in the blood arena was it. The more Shurchen spoke, the more he felt that his guess was correct. Then why did that city lord want you to notice the blood demon tree? Little Seven didn't understand. If the blood demon tree really wants to eat people, then by doing that, wouldn't he be exposing the blood demon tree? That didn't seem to make sense. Yue, when he met you, did the city lord say his name? Bai Sheng asked. He said his name is Li Hong. Sima Yu said. Speaking of which, when he told me his name he seemed to have emphasized the word Hong a bit, as if to emphasize it. Li Hong Li Hong. Bai Sheng mulled over these two words and suddenly had a flash of inspiration as he said, I remember hearing people say that this city lord is called Li Ji. When did this happen? Many years ago, when I went out in the middle of the night to investigate the city lord's mansion. I saw a black-robed man outside. He was heavily injured. When he saw me, he only said two words Li Ji, and then he died. Bai Sheng said. At that time it was just two words, I didn't connect it with the city lord's name. Now that I think about it, he should have been talking about Li Ji. Sima Yue said. None of you noticed his name before? In Bloodfiend City, no one knows the city lord's name. Everyone only knew that his surname was Li, but no one asked what his name was. Even when they meet him, they only address him as City Lord Li. Shurchen said. Moreover, this city lord is very mysterious. Very few people have seen him before. That's right. Feng Kai said. The past city lords were all very mysterious. Now that this one lives in seclusion, no one felt anything strange about it. Li Ji Li Hong. Sima Yue said. I think that the news that person risked his life to bring out shouldn't be fake. But the person that I met should be real too. Then why would that person have two names? Little Seven was dumbfounded. I think, maybe, that City Lord Li's body has two souls living in it. Sima Yue said. Two souls? Two souls, how is that possible? Feng Kai said in shock. It's not impossible. Bai Sheng said in a low voice. I once heard that some people have two souls living in their bodies. Sometimes it's one person who comes out, sometimes it's another person. Is it a possession? It's not a possession. Sima Yue said. Some people have two souls in one body when they're pregnant. It's another kind of twins. There's such a thing? Yes, but it's not common. Sima Yue said. There are also some people who have two personalities in one soul. This is more common. But these people usually don't have two names. Like City Lord Li, he should have two souls in one body. TSK, now that I think about it, it's really like that. Bai Sheng said. I think maybe there are two souls, one is better and one is worse. But the good can't win against the bad, so I can only give you this hint. But what's the use of the hint? Little Seven asked. And why did he hint about the blood demon tree? We'll know when we check. Sima Yue said. How do we check? We'll go tonight. As for how to check, you'll know when the time comes. That night, the group went to the blood arena again. Oh, young Master, see you and Miss Little Seven are here. The manager went up to welcome them but didn't see Bai Sheng, so he asked, Master Bai didn't come today. Old Bai isn't feeling well today, so he didn't come. Sima Yue said. Bring us to the private room from last time. All right, please follow me. The steward welcomed them in. When the people in the blood arena saw them, they started whispering to each other. When they reached the room, Little Seven chased the manager out and said to Sima Yue, 1,000 resonance, you didn't get recognized when you changed into Yu. I have a contract with Yu so I can change into her appearance and aura. 1,000 resonance said. If I change into someone else, I can only change my appearance but my aura can't fool others. I hope nothing will happen to boss and the rest. Foam Kai said worriedly. With the old Dragon King around, there won't be a problem. Little Seven said. Tonight, we'll have to recruit people for Yu. Hee. I wonder how many people will be willing to come up and let me beat them up tonight. At the same time, 3 figures dashed out of Bai Sheng's inn and headed towards the city lord's residence. Very quickly, they stopped outside the city lord's residence. Bai Sheng looked at the moon above his head and said, There's 2 more days until the red moon. The moon is going to be full soon. Sima Yue raised her head and looked at the moon. I hope tonight's operation will be fruitful. Godfather, we'll have to trouble you tonight. It's just to cover your aura. It's not a problem. Wu Lamai said. Then let's sneak into the city lord's residence and take a look at the situation inside. Wu Lamai covered their aura and came to a more remote corner of the city lord's residence and flew in together. Once they entered, they saw a few patrolling guards coming over, so they quickly hid in the shadows and waited for those people to leave before coming out. Over there, the blood demon tree wasn't very tall, but it was still visible. Following the direction, they avoided the patrolling guards. Very quickly, they reached the courtyard where Yue came to drink tea in the day. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.